I know there's a few of y'all who like to watch this after, given the fact that you're in the UK. Absolutely love my UK folks. I find it baffling that I'm able to connect with somebody all the way across. So, thank God for internet. Give me just a second. I'm going to get this shared out. I will be back in a couple, probably about a minute or two. If, like I said, if you're watching this after, you can just fast forward to usually the 2 minute mark, and that's when we start.
Oh. Oh.
All right, everybody. Welcome to Thrifty's Gaming News Podcast. I have Social Destruct here tonight. This is a guy who has been described by his peers as the best man among us. And that is high praise, especially coming from the guy who said it. He won't disappoint. He's going to be great. We are going to talk all today about the showcase. I think the showcase was it was a showcase, and this is coming live from the PS5. That is something that you cannot do on the other console that shall not be mentioned tonight. But you can do it on a PS5. So let's get into this. Social Destruct, what's going on, man?
Nothing much, man. I appreciate you having me on the show. Thanks for having me join. Nothing much. I'm doing well. Can't wait to start the show, man. Looking forward to it, especially with the showcase. Yes, sir.
RP Gaming in the chat is already going off. All right. So, something I like to do that I kind of stole from a few of the other podcasters that I watch, and mainly from Salty, because I think it's a great idea. So let me ask you this: how'd you get into gaming? Kind of what was that? How long have you been gaming? Like, when was the earliest?
The earliest for me, probably the first Nintendo. I've been through the majority of every platform launch, from Atari Jaguar to Sega Dreamcast to Super NES to Sega Master System to now PlayStation 1. The game that actually got me into PlayStation was Gran Turismo 1. That's what started it all for me on the PlayStation side. But yeah, I've been in gaming for a long time, played on pretty much every platform, but yeah, I've been around for a while as far as gaming. But that's where it all started for me.
Awesome, man. So GT1 was like amazing, only rivaled by GT3. GT3 was a game that I dropped tons of hours in, and I mean tons of hours. It was phenomenal. So I know from Wooly that you're really big into GT7. Like, how big are you into that?
We have a league of our own. Been a follower of the game since, like I said, GT1. We have a GT7 league every week where we just race online, just race for fun. We don't take it personally, we just have a good time. Especially the VR added to GT7. It's a different game in itself, man. Especially when you feel like you're driving a car and you have a full lobby of your friends in the game. It's insane. But that's the reason why we jump on it each week. We have a league going, so but yeah, especially the VR. I don't know if you have VR2 to try GT7 yet, but it's insane.
No, I don't.
That.
I don't. That was actually something I was hoping that I would have seen at the showcase, was something that would make me really want to get the PSVR 2, because right now, unless Best Buy, GameStop, or Target decide to set up a little like demo zone, I'm not buying it before I try it. I just won't. As my name suggests, I am very, very stingy with my money. And so, we'll get into this a little later, but the handheld that was announced, I have a price point in my head, and if it's over that price point, I will never own one. Like, that's how I think about everything. I don't let the company tell me what it's worth. I decide what it's worth to me, and then if it falls within that range, then I buy it. And that's just how I've always been. Like, I'm that way with everything from food to video games to cars to tools, even for work. Like, any of that stuff. It's all. That's why I have a Hisense LG C2, because the C2 was like $2,300, and I'm like, dude, I'm not paying that. 4K 60 VRR 120 HDR10, all of that stuff was only worth a certain amount to me, and so I found the company that agreed with that. But anyways, okay, so without beating around the bush, that show was absolute dog water. So
it was a disappointment. It was underwhelming. Yes, I agree. It was
yeah, like underwhelming. And that's not to say that there wasn't some cool stuff shown there, because we're gonna get into it later, like the games that were shown. But like, golly, overall, we saw from 3 of 19 first-party studios. 3 of 19. And the ones we haven't seen from haven't released a game, or some of them haven't released a game in 2, 3, 4 years. So like, I don't know, what were your overall thoughts on the showcase? Like,
the showcase was good to me. I wouldn't say it was complete trash. There were some games that I'm looking forward to that I saw, like Dragon's Dogma. What was that game, Blade Zero, or that? I forget what it was called. Yeah, Phantom Blade Zero. That looked awesome. There was some titles that did look good in the showcase. I'm not gonna lie. There was some that looked. Alan Wake. That looked awesome. Same thing with Spider-Man 2. We'll get into that. But for the most part, it was good. But then again, the lack of first-party support is what disappointed me. That's what really, especially the VR2. We'll get into that also. But just the point that this is the first showcase that they've had in 2 years. And they mentioned before the showcase that this was basically going to be the second phase of the PS5. Look forward to PS5 and VR2 titles. The first party support was missing. I don't know if it was just me. I mean, there was one title, Spider-Man 2, which looked fucking incredible, but there was no first party support, in my opinion.
There was Firewalk.
Lack of. There was, but it was just a lack of. I'm not saying there wasn't. But
I think there was Insomniac, Firewalk, and I don't know if the first one was Fire Sprite. I always get those two confused. They need to make a new studio called Flames Unite or something. Just stop. Like,
but, I don't know if you felt the same way, but there was a lot of stuff that was shown that, to me, in my opinion, could have easily done in a blog. Like, there was a lot of, that I don't know if you agree with that, but from what I saw, there was a lot of it that didn't, for me, to have a showcase after 2 years of being silent and not showing more first-party support, that disappointed me. That's the reason why.
Yeah, like, so, and I'm looking at the games list right now, right? Because I didn't pay attention to half that trash. It was on the screen for 5 seconds, and I was like, yeah, no. Like, we have Cat Quest, Pirates of the Caribbean. Like,
right.
So,
You're showing that in a showcase, and you've been silent for 2 years.
Pirates of the Caribbean. Like,
Yeah,
Lord
like
Jesus.
yeah.
My son
Go
would
on.
probably love that game. We have Towers of Agashashaba is a Breath of the Wild like. Please stop. Like, this is IGN, so obviously IGN hypes up whatever party is releasing whatever at that time. Like, I don't. It's IGN. But, like, the calling the Towers of Agashashaba is a Breath of the Wild. No, 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 it's not. No, it's not.
No, no, absolutely not. No. Nice try, but
It's a
no.
Game Pass game
It's
at
not gonna work.
best.
Yes. Yeah, I agree.
Like, then you had, okay, so you had one. So here's the thing. We're gonna kind of mix up everything. It's not gonna go in full like order with what I sent you. So I'm just gonna kind of mix it up a bit, and as we go, I'll just continue to pull out your thoughts. So, like, I had expectations coming into this, right? I had expectations for Square Enix, and then when I saw that their name was on the screen, I got super excited, only to find out that they gave us let's see, what is it? It's a Fortnite with foam. It's called Foam
Yeah, I saw
Losers,
that. Yeah.
Foam Dying Foam,
I didn't know
Foam
what
Party,
it was.
whatever. It's
Yeah.
Foam Party. And so, like, what? First of all, I was disappointed about that. I was disappointed that there was no acquisition talk, none. Like, at Dragon's Dogma. Oh yeah, hey, we bought Capcom. Like, something. Oh, Square Enix. By the way, this is a PS5 exclusive, PS5 and PC, because they're ours. Like, something. Give me something. I was thinking that there was going to be some sort of that here. I thought we were going to get more than just shooters and Beat Saber for the VR too. Like, I had such ideas of, like, not even stuff that's unreasonable, right? Like, stuff that just, like, should have been there. Like, y'all, so you're a VR2 guy. Bless your
Yeah.
soul. I'm
Yeah.
not
But
yet.
hold on. Before you go into that, I have to say something about Square Enix. So I'd be
Go
interrupt
ahead.
you. But
No. Go ahead.
why did they not have a demo today? It's like they did a state of play for Final Fantasy, which I pre-ordered, by the way, which I can't wait for. Why do you show it on the showcase when you've already shown it in the state of play? You don't need to show any more. If you're going to show more, then have the damn fucking demo. That's
Yes.
then release it. Why is that an issue? I don't understand. I don't need to see more footage of it. It's already a pre-bought. I'm buying it. You don't need to prove anything anymore. It's sold. But put the demo out today. You know what I'm saying? Like, why show more footage? You did a state of play on it. So anyway, man, I'll let you go on.
No. That's
I had to
actually a great point.
get that
because
out there.
here's the thing: you're trying to sell consoles. I think today, not a good step in that. Like, because I'm still super hyped for Final Fantasy 16. Look, I don't get the fury.
Yes.
It's not all first party. I was very happy with the showcase. Okay, Hero
Yeah.
Down Under. We will get to that. We're airing our grievances right now. These are two.
Yeah.
It's just two gamers who are pissed off at the company that they've given money to. Like,
Just tell
let
your
us-
listeners I didn't say the show was bad. It was still a good
We
show.
didn't.
I'm not
We're just
trashing
airing
it.
our grievances. We haven't
but
got
I'm
to the
just-
good stuff yet.
Yeah,
But,
I'm
like,
just letting you know.
I'm still hyped for Final Fantasy. I'm still hyped for Spider-Man. I'm still hyped for games that I didn't see. Okay? I'm still hyped for Stellar Blades. Still hyped for that. I'm still hyped for Wolverine. I still want to see the other thing, Factions. I still want to see that. There's another game that they were talking about doing with another multiplayer that was going to be like a more MMO style. I want to see that. Like, there's a lot of stuff that I still am excited for because I still know in some form or fashion it's coming. Right? But, man, you talked about a demo. And I think that if we were given a demo, we would at least be excited, right?
Right. Yeah. I would have been okay with the footage shown. I mean, okay, there's a reason why they showed it. we've already had the state of play on it, so you're showing again, okay, there's a demo dropping. Cool. I would say, hell yeah, let's bring it. I'll be on it tonight. But no, they chose to show gameplay footage, which we've already seen enough footage of. I don't know if that's just me or not, but if you have the same opinion of it, that's how I feel about Final Fantasy.
Yeah, so
You
when
don't
I
need to sell.
watched the showcase, I was driving still. Like I was at work, I was driving, so I like listened to it, and I was on Salty's channel. I was listening to their live cast of it, and whenever him, Jez, Wooly, or Axel said something, like I looked over, right, and then I watched the showcase again when I got home. But like I sat at a gas station for a little bit because I needed to cool off after work or after I was at this house. And dude, for 10 minutes, I came in at the indie section.
Oh, that's when he came into the showcase? Was
Dear
during the indie
God.
section?
And all I see in
Oh,
the chat
bro.
are L, L,
Fuck.
L, L, indie showcase, where's play? We had
Oh,
True
man.
Virgil in there and X-Hawk at the same daggum freaking time. It was awful. It was terrible. But like
Wow, that's a great time to jump into the showcase,
And
right?
I'm not
Yeah.
saying that indies look bad. Like, I'll be honest,
No.
my kid's probably
No.
going to love the crap out of some of those games. And kudos to them, because right now the average age of a PS5 player is about 30 years old. So, like, they need to bring in the younger demographic somehow. Like, also, the other thing that frustrated me about the show was we were told it was going to be over an hour long. And I'm sorry, when you say over an hour, I don't think an hour and 4 minutes. I just don't. Like,
I'm the
I.
same.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I'm the same. I was thinking like an hour and 15 minutes. Hour and 10 minutes, 15 minutes, around there. That's what I was thinking for an hour over. Or an hour and a half tops.
Right. Like, I
Kind
was
of
sitting
thing.
here looking at the time, and Jim Ryan came out, and he was like, so now, before we get into, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool. They're going to go ahead and, like, I had this thought right before he said what he did, and he was like, okay, I'm like, okay, cool. You're gonna get the first party studios now. Now that you've gotten all the other stuff out of the way, now we get 20 minutes of first party. Heck yeah, let's go. And then he's like,
That's,
for
yeah.
our last thing, excuse me, I'm sorry, what?
I was just saying, my mindset was the same way. I'm like, here we go with the first party, 20 minutes, 20. I'm like, here we go. And then, huh? No,
like,
same exact way.
like, wait a
Nope.
minute.
Yeah,
What? Also, let's get into the Q Lite real quick, okay? Because you and I were talking a little
yeah.
bit about it before the show. So the Q Lite, I'm going to give my first initial thoughts. One, I will absolutely love the crap out of that thing, but it needs to be sub 150. 149.99, and I'm in there. Anything above that, man, I'm going to have to wait for a sale. The other thing, the controller, I have Shrek hands, okay? Like, I have short, stubby hands, and my fingers look like sausages. Like, I just have always had that. I'm not a piano player, never could have been. But, like, that controller looks very, like, tight around the screen. Like, where the handles come down for the controller, it looks extremely tight next to the screen when it comes up. And so I'm sitting here going, man, I don't even know. It's going to be another one of those I have to hold it before I buy it. But also, they didn't show us anything about it. Like, they showed us what it looked like. Cool. It's a DualSense. We all knew that. It's a DualSense essentially cut in half, and you get all the cool stuff with the DualSense in this little thing. Great. I will absolutely use that when my kids are wanting to watch TV or my wife is like, you know what? You've played PlayStation like the past 5 nights in a row. Can I watch a show tonight? Like, sure, no problem. Get it. But like, then I would use it because I'm on my home Wi-Fi. My PlayStation would be about 5 feet from me. But what are your thoughts on the Q Lite?
I'd say for the price range that you mentioned, that's what I would pay for. The display is 1080p, isn't it?
It
The
is
display itself?
1080p
Yeah,
60.
1080p 60, yeah. The price point I can see, like you said, if it goes above that, I would wait on it. I'm in no rush to get it, to be honest. What I want to get out of the three things they showed is the earbuds because of VR2, specifically for that. I think that's what I'm going to invest into that. I'm not saying the earbuds are bad on VR2, but that I would invest into those. But the screen, it's not really something I'm amped for. It was okay, but like you said, the 150 price point, that's about as high as I think it would be or should be.
Yeah. Sorry, I was reading some of the comments. My worry though is that, there was somebody talking earlier, and they were like, you know what, I really want to get it just because I think it'll be discontinued and it'll be a collector's item. Like, holy
Oh,
shit. Okay.
that's a $150 collectible. No, no, that's not. I don't buy things to collect for $150
It's
for
gonna be
price
like the
tag.
Power Glove, dude. It's gonna be like it works for two
Yeah,
games and you never use it
and
again.
that's
That's
it. Yeah, exactly. We're done. Yeah, it's a
so
one and done machine.
I actually live down the road from Retro Rick's Game Point, and so like he has two Power Gloves sitting in his store right now, and I'm like, man. Him and I were talking today. I was like, dude, those only worked for like three games, and he goes, actually two. I was like, oh,
Oh,
okay,
okay. So we got more than one. We're all right now.
my bad.
How
But
much does he have it for? What does he ask for price wise?
uh,
Curious. Collectability wise of it. What are they
hundred
valued at?
dollars, and they are
Oh, okay. All right.
pristine.
Wow.
He has them
That's
up on
high.
like an
I
eight
didn't think
foot
it'd be
high
that much.
shelf. Like, but that's what the Q Lite's gonna be. It's gonna be we shipped 300,000 of them
Yeah.
because some
Uh,
PlayStation fans are stupid, and
um,
they got it. And now we're done.
here you go. Here's a 1080p. The PSP that we wanted is no longer, but you can get this device instead.
Here's the messed up thing.
No.
I can get a PSP right now for $139. Like,
Right. With how much of a catalog of games? You know?
right.
There you go.
Because the PSP gave you access to the PS3 store, correct?
Yeah, it did.
See, so I'd be able to
Yes.
go on there, and since they kept the PS3 store active after so many PSP users and PS3 users were like, wait a minute, I still buy games off of that thing. Like, because
Same.
of that, like, they would have, I'd be able to buy, like, Final Fantasy 13 versus, or Final Fantasy 13 2. I could buy all the games that came out on the PS3 and play them natively as opposed to streaming. Anyways, hey, Sony, if you're actually listening, if you're one of the 7 people in here, listen, give us something we can stream PS2, PS3, PS1 games, or, novel idea, make them native to the thing. Damn,
Oh
I,
yeah.
I just
Yeah,
broke
that would
broke
sell.
the like
Oh,
how much data would it honestly take to install, I don't know, 100 of the best PlayStation 1 games pre-installed on a handheld device?
not much.
I don't know,
Not
20 gigs,
much.
30 gigs?
Yeah, tops. Yep,
I
20 to
mean,
30. Yeah.
because every single one I download from PlayStation Premium is like 300 megabytes. Like, okay. But the Q Lite, I was so hoping that the rumor still put it a year out. Like,
Same. Same.
because I was hoping for a cloud function for it. Like, it would basically turn into a native PS5 on the go, right? And I know that that's hard to do. I get it. But if you're already uh, downgrading the game to 1080p,
Yeah.
then you're already setting your expectation for your user, right? I don't expect to get 1080p out of my iPhone 12 screen when using remote play. I just don't. Go ahead.
Now, was it was this something that you think should have been on the showcase? Do you think they should have not had it on it, maybe like in a blog instead? Do you think it should have been on the showcase today? I don't know. It's hard to say
It
because
is
it's a
hard to
new
say
device. So I could
because
see why they did it, but
I wish they would have explained it. Like, listen, nobody's telling you you can't have an hour and a half long showcase. Nobody said that. Instead, this showcase was it was a longer state of play. And and here's why. a showcase did not hold the Q light. No, they gave it very little information or attention. Yeah, that's right, D Wolf. Uh, really did. It was bad. But so I understand the licensing. Okay, I can't look at chat, guys. So like it's I wish they would have spent more time on it. And then the earbuds, hell, show somebody holding it, playing it on a stage. What, like, maybe that's why I really like Jeff Keighley's stuff that he does, because it's not all just the trailers, right? Like, they have interviews with the devs sometimes. They do other cool things like a
Yeah,
showcase.
yeah. The presentation, how he has it. Yeah,
Right. It
how
felt
everything.
like
Yep.
a state of play,
Yeah.
which was, hey, here's the games and goodbye. Like, I get it. We at the Sony camp love to tout, it's not about me. Let's let the games do the talking. Yeah, but some of your devout gamers really would love to hear from some of the devs on these things. Like, hey, why does
Yeah.
Cat Quest 2 look like dog shit still? Like, or is it not dog shit and what am I missing? Tell me. What, like, what's so cool about it? How many did the last one sell? Obviously enough to get a third game. Like, what's what am I missing? Like, what did they miss? And I'll leave you to answer that. What do you think they missed on this one?
But what today, I think Sony's gotten too complacent, meaning that they like to keep things held secretly. They don't really the communication isn't like they used to be, the way it is now. So for the reason that they're radio silent for the most part, and they haven't had a showcase in 2 years, and then they announce in the blog leading up to the show that it's focusing on PS5 VR2. To me, it sounded like it was going to be the second phase of PS5. Like we had the launch, and this is what we look forward to, and it turned out to be a showcase that was focused on more third party and more indie titles than what I was expecting. I'm not saying things wrong with third party and indie titles, nothing at all. But because of them being silent for so long and they don't have showcases, this has been 2 years. So I think we as a community have a right to go into this day with higher expectations as normal because of that reason. So that's my thoughts on the show. It wasn't bad. It was still a good show, but for the most part, I expected a better showing of first party, what they were leading it to be.
Yeah, we have a couple folks in the chat. C plus plus, C, C all the way. One of the guys in here, Sin. Thanks for stopping. I haven't seen you in a while. It's good to see you in one of my shows. Um, he had said earlier that he thought it was a good show. He's excited to buy some things, uh, stuff like that. And so let's get into that because kind of aired our grievances. It wasn't a great show. It wasn't a terrible show. But let's get into what they did talk about. Because like it or not, there
I agree.
were a lot of third party companies here, which I wasn't expecting. But it is what it is, and we got what we got. So the only difference is I'm not a kid, so I get to throw my little fit. So let's talk about the one at the very end. Let's kind of work our way from one that we all knew was going to be there. So Spider-Man 2,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I saw that thing. I was watching the same thing that everybody else was, and it was not in 4K. And that thing looked it was a tale of two games when I was watching it on YouTube because everything in the burrows looked absolutely awesome. Just amazing. You could see the freaking blades of grass moving as Spider-Man was sitting there trying to fight off the folks with guns who were in between those two buildings and or in between the two houses. And like I was sitting there going, dude, this is so cool. This is awesome. This looks great. And then they switched over to Miles in the city, and I was like, what? Huh? What? Why does this look terrible? What happened? And then Wooly starts talking and going, this looks like PS3 textures. And I was like, is it the textures? And then they showed the water, and I was like, oh God. Oh, what am I? Why does this look like shit? What am I like? Why does this look like Spider-Man on the PS4 and not a better version of Miles Morales on the PS5. Now, I will say, I have, before the show, I watched the 4K trailer, and it looks absolutely stunning. Like, I take back
agree.
everything I just said. So, what are your
Yep.
thoughts? Do you think this is going to be labeled as DLC, or do you think this is a full new game with new mechanics? Like, what do you think?
No, this is a full new game with mechanics. Like I said, the show. If you watched it on the showcase live, you were watching a compressed 1080p video. Is the first thing. So anybody that has not watched, like you mentioned, go back, watch the 4K version of it, and then just watch it again. You will have a different opinion. I think the game looks great on PS5. To me, the lighting was good, the shadow was good, everything about the game to me, it looked great. And now, I don't know if you saw this, but it went quick when they were showing the gameplay. When they were switching between Miles and Peter Parker with the quick switch, that was so fast. There was no loading at all. If you noticed that, it was instant. And if you remember in Ratchet and Clank when they did the sequences when you went from one stage to another,
Yes.
now remember how there was no loading at all? They took what they did in Ratchet and Clank and perfected it in Spider-Man 2. It's the same thing as the mechanic in Ratchet and Clank, but you're not going through the motion of going through the stage and actually still controlling the character.
Dude,
It's
you're so
instantaneous
right.
now. It goes by so quick, but there's no loading in between. That's what blew me away. I'm like, there was no, you went from one character to the other character seamlessly, like it was nothing. That's what that blew me away. Again, if anybody hasn't seen it, go watch the 4K version of it. Don't just do that, and you'll have a different opinion.
Don't do what I did.
Yeah, don't.
Because I literally got off work and my wife called me and she was like, "Are you okay?" Because my voice was just off. And I was like, "Yeah, I'm fine." The PlayStation showcase was today. Oh, how was it? Yeah, we're not going to talk about it right now.
Yeah, not yet. Wait until it's over with, and then get back with me. Then we'll have a discussion.
I gotta stop right now
No.
because we're not. But like,
Yeah.
So fun thing about Ratchet and Clank, and on my show, this is what I kind of like to do. Like whenever like games get brought up, I am a gamer, you're a gamer, and I love talking just video games. I'm recently playing Ratchet and Clank, and because that thing earlier that I mentioned, I have a price point that I wasn't going to spend more than to get, and it never hit that price point. So I'm playing.
So you didn't play it at launch, did you?
I did
So this
not.
is the first time you played. Oh wow, okay. So this is the first time you played it.
I bought Returnal instead of Ratchet and Clank. It's that 3 new game thing that got me when it came out. So I'd had Returnal that year. Was that God of War Ragnarok also that year? Was that it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I'd bought a game earlier in the year. I'd purchased Returnal, and then I purchased God of War Ragnarok. And so those were my 3. And everything else gets a price point. But I'm playing it now, and when I tell you that freaking teleporting to like different sections or different platforms or different worlds, like that stuff feels so like it does something to my brain. It feels weird. Because it's so seamless. Like I'm expecting like a load, or I'm expecting something to slow down, and it doesn't. Like there was one part where I teleported to a little platform, and like there were 3 people there starting to shoot at me immediately after I jump out, and I'm like, holy crap, okay, that's not. Oh wow, oh shit.
Yep. So you know what I'm talking about when the seamless transitions
dude,
in Ratchet when you go from one place to another.
I didn't even pick it up.
That means they perfected it. From what I saw tonight, they took that that method, how they did the switching, like that, the seamless transition from one place to another. They perfected it in Spider-Man 2. It was instant. There wasn't no transition to going from one stage to another. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like Ratchet and Clank. It was instant. So that whatever they took from Ratchet, they perfected it with Spider-Man 2. That's what I saw. I don't see many people commenting about it. I don't see much mention of it. That should be, to me, that's one of the highlights of the actual gameplay.
No, like you're
Really?
absolutely right. Like that's one of dude, I didn't even catch it because I'll be honest, it's hard for me to remember that, you know, Sony, I'm sorry, that Insomniac also makes Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
it's hard for me to marry those two under the same studio. It just is. I
And if you don't know this too, the launch of Ratchet and Clank, when they launched it, because you're buying it now, when they launched it, they had a post-date patch that actually improved the ray tracing and actually improved other aspects of the game on launch. So we've got what, eight? It's the fall when the Spider-Man 2 comes out. We still have all this time. They can do the same thing with Spider-Man 2. Do a post-day launch patch just like they did with Ratchet and improve some things within the game. They did the same thing with Ratchet. So the showcase was good today. That's just my opinion on Spider-Man 2. I think it looked great, from my opinion.
uh, so the showcase looked good. You think so?
Yeah, I think so. When you go back and watch the 4K version, yeah, that changed my mind. On Showcase and the 1080p stream, I was like that. I'll wait to the 4K version of it to make up my mind.
Yeah, okay.
Graphic wise, gameplay. I thought the Showcase, that transition I was talking about was awesome. Where no loading. That's what surprised me about the live stream of it. But when you go back and watch the 4K, that it'll even make open your eyes even more because you really see the graphic fidelity better in the 4K version of it.
Yeah, so Zelda games should really look like this by now. Dude, they really should. So what I have what he's commenting on is I have Star
Oh,
Ocean playing in the background, and I'm just kind of walking around mindlessly killing a few things just to give people something to look at. But also, guys, I am so sorry. I'm noticing that YouTube is like lagging real bad. Sorry about that. Anyways, it's been doing that all day, dude. So the other thing that kind of, let's talk about this. The other thing that kind of frustrates me a little bit about the Spider-Man 2 gameplay trailer, which, yay, we got gameplay. I'm not knocking that. It looks phenomenal. I can't wait to play as Venom. I wondered how they were going to kind of reset Peter's powers. So
yeah.
that's how they do it, because he'll play in the Venom suit for most of the game. Uh, at least that's my prediction. But there were a few things that stood out. One, uh, the subtitles were there were spelling errors in the subtitles.
I didn't notice that. Really?
So when Miles talks about Genki, the subtitles spell it as Yankee, Yankee, and I'm not even kidding. And it's Genki actually, if I'm not mistaken. It's Ganki if I remember correctly. But like there was a spelling error, and then we finally get confirmation that we get a reaffirmation that it's fall of 2023. Like, that tells me that they're not sure the game is ready for a hard release date yet.
No, that's why they didn't have a specific date. So to me, it looked like an older build. It still looked good, but to me, it didn't look like like whatever the most current build is, whatever it may be.
And
But
that
yeah,
could be
I
why
agree with you.
Queens looked so good
Yeah,
and New York looked a little drab.
exactly. Yeah,
Or
I never
Manhattan.
thought about that. Uh, that's the reason why they didn't release a specific date, why they said fall.
Okay, it did have Genki in there. I forgot his name and it showed up as Genki. Oh, okay. Well, listen, maybe I read it wrong. Maybe that was me. But it felt like I read that right. And if that's wrong, then I'm going to change my gripe a little bit because that had me like, come on, guys. My first thought was, y'all are a multi-billion-dollar company. You can't use spell check? Like, really? Like, I know that Microsoft made the spell check product, but like, it's okay to use their stuff. It's fine. You'll be fine. But like, anyways, so that's about Spider-Man. I'm super excited. It explained a lot. If you're a gamer who's played sequels, it explained so much about how they're approaching it, and it gives us a good frame of reference. Like I said, in every sequel, they have to find a way to reset the powers. so you can't just go through and just wreck everything. And, God of War did that by kind of expanding on the moveset and giving you a third weapon in Ragnarok. But they look like what they're going to do is somehow Peter gets infected towards the beginning of the game with the Venom suit. And I think it's going to end with the big fight isn't going to be you versus Kraven or you versus the Lizard. It's going to be you versus Peter playing as Miles.
That's what I think. Yep. I think the same thing. Yep. Same thing.
And
Completely agree with that.
Just talking about it makes me giddy. Like,
it's going to be a good game, man. I'm telling you, like it's for when it releases, it's going to be. You remember the last, what was it, Puddlegate with that bullshit with the last Spider-Man? You remember how that went? And look what the game turned out to be. Come on, people, just relax. Spider-Man 2 is going to be one. It's going to be one hell of a game, man. It was probably an old build today. I was thinking of the old Puddlegate crap, so people are going to start Watergate with this new one because of the water. I'm like, come on, man. just stop. Just stop.
Let's not say Watergate.
Yeah, no.
That's not this podcast.
No, it's not. I didn't say that. I didn't say it. Moving on.
You're gonna make me call up Jeremy from the quarter and see if he'll come in and talk to us. Anyways, that's not throwing shade at his channel. I'm actually subscribed. I like the dude. He's pretty funny.
No.
Just not throwing shade. I don't want to get involved in that mess.
No. But it looked good though. The showing looked good to me.
It did.
For
now,
Spider-Man.
So let's go to another one, and I'm not going to talk about the next big one, but we don't need to talk about Final Fantasy. Okay, Bungie. Okay, I know people are like, there's some people who are like, it's a multi-plat, it doesn't matter. That game looks fucking fun.
It does. It does look cool.
That game looks awesome.
Now, shout out to Retro. He was mentioning to me that it's an old game. That it came out before on, was it iOS or a different system? It's an older game.
It's their first game from 1992. It's the first game they ever made.
Oh, that's what. So it's their first game then.
It is Bungie's
that makes
first
it
title.
Even cooler then to me. If that's Bungie's first title, they're going back to the first title for next gen. Yeah.
Yeah.
I liked the trailer. I thought it looked cool.
Like, I thought it really did. I'm sitting here watching it and like, this looks awesome. Yeah, it was on Mac first.
Mac.
In 1992. Yeah. So the way IGN puts it, they said that's a pretty deep cut for Bungie to dip back in the well that far. That's awesome.
Yeah, it looked cool to me from what they showed. It looked impressive. I can't wait to see more about it. I'm not aware of for me with Bungie, it started with Halo, so I don't know much of their other projects before that. So I didn't even know.
It's interesting you say that because I was getting really big, like, Halo meets Destiny vibes with, like, the armor they were wearing and, like, how they looked, and I was like...
Same thing. Same thing. I thought, please don't tell me it's a Destiny game. I'm not putting down Destiny, but I like the game. But I was like, it looked like Destiny for a second with a cross of Halo, like a mixture of both. Dude, so I'm like, what is this game? Yeah.
It's actually, that's why all the neon lights and everything looked like another Lightfall trailer to me. And I was like, oh.
Yeah, I said the same thing.
But then I saw like how the armor looked and all that, and I was like, huh, that looks like Halo. That looks a lot. And then it came out Marathon. I was like, what the fuck is Marathon? But like...
yeah. I said the same thing. Are we getting a new Halo? What? There's a Halo on PlayStation. I said the same thing. Yeah. And then it said Marathon, and I kind of was confused. And I didn't realize, same thing.
Okay, cool. So we're pretty much in agreement on that. Like, it's PvP focused. Yeah. It won't feature a single-player campaign. But, like, it still looks enjoyable, right?
Yeah.
Also, I will say this. For all the crap I'm giving Sony right now, I want everybody to hear me loud and clear. I have never owned an Xbox. I have never owned a gaming PC or a PC capable of anything more than some Diablo. And that's the first one, not the second or third. Like, I have been a PlayStation gamer since the PS1 first launched. So everybody who, and they're not here right now, but if they listen to this afterwards, who came at me during Salty's podcast or Salty's stream, y'all can get bent real fast. I love the PlayStation brand. That's why I'm so pissed off that this showcase didn't deliver what it needed to. And so, moving on, one thing I will say is that every single one of their trailers was at 60 frames per second. Every single one. Even the one that said captured on PC. Don't think I missed that. Like, there was one of the games that they showed that was captured on PC, and I about flipped out of my dang van.
So did I. So did I. In my opinion, a PC game should not be on a PlayStation showcase. I'm not knocking the
No.
game, but it should not be there. I'm like, when I saw it running on PC, I was like, why is this here? No offense to PC gaming. I'm like, why is this on the showcase?
No offense.
It should not have been there.
Get the fuck out.
Exactly. Get the fuck out of here. Like, I don't want to see this. I'm not a PC gamer. I'm not. I'm a PlayStation gamer.
Okay, so we've talked about a couple good. Let's go ahead and talk about.
Move it on.
So you play online games, you play stuff like that. So, also, why in the world my chat is like repeating itself? Hang on. YouTube has been jacked up all freaking day.
It's been messing up too on my computer. So you're not the only one.
Like
It's
the chat isn't
itself.
loading. It's not. I'm
It's
seeing
not-
comments
it's not
from
good.
like 10 minutes ago. Okay, Halo CE is an awesome game, and Halo 2 is even better.
Yeah.
Sin, I agree. I have
I agree
friends who
100%.
spent their like entire middle school and high school playing Halo and Halo 2. Like they used to all have nerdy LAN parties where they would all like take their PlayStation or take their Xboxes to school, and then they'd all go over to somebody's house and they would all set up the like it was a whole freaking thing.
Yeah, we did that with TVs. Yep.
Yeah,
Bring
with
the TV
TVs,
over.
right.
Yep. LAN party. Yep.
Yeah,
I did that.
absolutely. Like, I have nothing against Xbox. Listen, y'all think I don't like Xbox because I make fun of them. I have always said it is fun to poke and have fun with other gamers and to call them out on their crap whenever they get too obnoxious. But like, at the end of the day, I want everybody to be able to have great games. Everybody. I don't care what you play on. Do I have a preference? Absolutely. It's PlayStation. It's my big, beautiful spaceship that sits on top of my daggum entertainment center. Like, it's vertical, too. I'm waiting for the liquid metal to just eat through my PlayStation. I want to see it.
Oh yeah. We're all doomed.
We're
Return
all
our
doomed.
PS5s. Yep. We're done.
Just get rid of them. But, like, let's talk about another multiplayer game that's coming out, which, you know, folks in the thing in the live stream I was watching were really bashing it, but I thought it looked fun, and
Which
I thought
game is
it
that?
looked really good. It's the one from Haven, which was Fair Game.
Fair game.
It's a heist,
trying to
like
remember.
it's a multiplayer heist game, right?
Oh yeah. I remember that. That did look good. Yeah. I look
Like-
forward to that. Yeah.
And man, I'll be honest. And I want to get your thoughts on this because I think you have more insight into the multiplayer space than me. And so here's my initial thought. I don't like a lot of PvP because I suck at them. Okay, I'll just be completely honest. PvP shooters, I will hardly ever play. The best I ever got in them was in Call of Duty Black Ops 3. I ended with a 2-to-1 KD ratio, and that was the best I ever got in those games. Ever. Everything else was, like, terrible. So, I see this, and I'm like, oh, it's like a coordination thing where, like, it's a team doing a heist. That sounds fun to me. It looked good. It didn't look like an incomplete game. And yes, it's all a CGI trailer. I get it. We have seen this before, and I'm going to get into that a little later. But what are your thoughts on it, man? What are your thoughts on a game like that where it's set up in more of like a Ocean's 11 video game with guns style?
I like multiplayer in general, so it could either be PvP or PvE. It doesn't matter to me. But the games where you have to work as a team, like where you have a specific role that you have to do, Those I like more because it gives you more co-op, a better co-op experience than just PvP where you're just going against random. So like if you have a group of friends and you work together, you have a goal. I like that aspect of a game as far as cooperative games. Those I like in multiplayer. But yeah, it looked good to me. There's another game of first person called Payday where it's the same thing where you're in a heist and you all have a specific role that you have to do for each mission. So where you have to go in and do whatever it says, check mark the list and work as a team. But those type of multiplayer games I love, especially when it's cooperative where you work together as a team and you have to complete the mission. And if you don't work as a team and you don't the mission completed, then you fail. So it looked good to me. I know it was CG, but that type of game interests me.
Yeah.
That type of experience.
So one of the games I was
Right.
super hoping for, and I was trying to read tea leaves, and I'm not good at it. I'm not Jeff Grubb, Tom Henderson. I don't have insider information, but I'm a combat. I mean, like, I even played like came out after. I'm a huge, huge Ace Combat fan. And I know for a fact
Yeah.
that Project
Me too.
Aces has secured all the licenses they needed to and has been working on the game for almost 3 years now. So I'm like, PSVR 2, Ace Combat 8, Bandai Namco, haven't heard a lot from them lately. Huh, this all makes sense. And I was just kind of trying to put it together in
Yeah.
my head because I know that somebody can look at what I said on Twitter and go, man, he pulled that out of his rear end. No, I actually had a thought process behind it. like,
There's a reason behind it. You're not just putting a random thought out there there's a reasoning behind it. Yeah. Of
no,
course.
and
Oh.
on Jez's show on Monday, I made a very good argument as to why they should buy uh, WB Games, or I'm sorry, Avalanche Software via buying WB Interactive, because AT&T still owns WB Interactive, and AT&T's trying to set that off for a long time, since 2019. And so, with the relationship they have, with the relationship they built up during Hogwarts, with it being only 4 billion and them selling off 8, like I had this whole freaking thing worked out in my head that, oh yeah, okay, that's one of the studios that's high probability. But we didn't get nothing. We got. That's my problem with the showcase. We didn't get anything that I really wanted.
Substantial. That you really, but substantially, like what you really wanted to see, especially a showcase for being silent for 2 years. You expected more. There's
Right.
nothing wrong with that. Nothing more.
It's
There's
like
nothing
when
wrong with
I
that.
with
We all did, not just you.
the
We all did.
Square Enix porn star Foam Stars, the Foam Stars game,
Yeah.
where like you are playing in this arena, and I'm like, oh, this actually kind of looks so. Are we gonna get excited about this, but bash Hi-Fi Rush? Like the game looks like Hi-Fi
Yeah.
Rush meets Fortnite.
Yeah. That's what I said. Me say Fortnite. Yeah. I said the same thing. I didn't think a Hi-Fi Rush, but yeah, I could see that comparison. But I was expecting the you brought up Ace Combat. I didn't expect a new Ace Combat, but I did expect a Ace Combat VR2 version because they had it on VR1. And from what I've heard about Ace Combat on VR1, I've heard it's one of the best games in VR for VR1. That's what I was
That's
hoping for Ace Combat for VR2, but I know you moved on to something else, but just to point that out
no,
because
no,
you
no,
just
no, not
mentioned
at
it.
all. Like here, if you want, we can talk about Ace Combat till like the end of the earth. Like I've watched hours and hours and hours of videos on YouTube because the story is
Yeah,
always really clusterfucked. Like it just is. And
the
like,
gameplay though. Oh man, Ace
oh,
Combat, dude, it's
it's
so
so
good, man.
good.
I have it. I have it on the PS4 of it, so it's one hell of a game. But I never played the VR1 version of it, and there's a VR1 mode, and I've heard it's awesome. So, but yeah,
People don't give Ace
that's what I read.
Combat 7 enough credit. Like here's the deal. My
No, not at all.
PS4, it shut it down. it literally overspun. It overheated my PS4 to the point where I had to replace the thermal paste, and I had to replace the heat sink, not the heat sink, the little pads that are on there, the thermal pads, because it literally overheated it every time. And you know why? When you fly into the clouds, you got rain on your window. And it was all the weather systems in that game operating at one moment, and it would overheat the PS4 Pro. And so like they've always pushed the boundaries of what the system can do. Like, remember Shattered Skies? Holy crap.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Holy crap. That was like the apex of Ace Combat to me.
It was. 100%.
It was so good.
100%.
And then you had Ace Combat. I think Shattered Skies was number 4. Number 5 was the Belkan War. Number 6 was that, well, I don't think there was a 6. I think it was Ace Combat 0, I believe. And then you had Ace Combat 7. And the problem with the story, it's the same story throughout the whole thing. Like, there's a whole continuity, there's a whole history, but the problem is the game's released in a staggered, choppy order, so you don't get the full story, right? Like, you have to kind of, unless you did what I did and find somebody who like researched it and like got it all organized and then gave you a 7 hours worth of videos, like. And yes, I've watched them all. I absolutely need my Ace Combat 8, and that would buy VR too.
Yeah. Even if you play Ace Combat 7 on a PS5, on the back catalog for PS4, it still looks great today. The game looks awesome if you were to even play it now. But yeah, that's what I was hoping for with Ace Combat. Or even if just announce the VR1 version is getting an upgrade to VR2. It didn't have to be Ace Combat 8. Just come out with an Ace Combat VR, Ace Combat 7, VR1 is now getting a VR2 upgrade. I would have been even cool with that. Didn't have to be Ace Combat 8. But yeah, I agree with you. I was expecting something with Ace Combat today. I assumed.
Yeah, because VR Showcase. What better than like make a freaking Sony's really loving this whole like peripheral like market. Make a joystick that I can. Dear God, if they make a freaking flight joystick, I will go broke as hell trying to get a PSVR 2 and that dang flight stick, because then I'll like get a flight jacket and I'll sit here like Maverick and I will do all the things that I've been dreaming of since I was a little kid watching Top Gun. Like, don't get it twisted. Like this series would make somebody would be like, man, you're gonna spend $1,000 just for one game? You damn straight I am. Absolutely, because games still sell consoles and they still sell product. Anyways.
They do. Yeah. We can either move on to the next topic or talk about VR. It's up to you. I got a lot to say about VR too, but we'll keep moving on until the other games. But it's up to you. But,
yeah, let's do a couple more of the regulars and then we'll get into VR because that's I know nothing about VR.
I have a lot to say.
So
I have a lot to say about that.
I'm basically just going to load you up and say, hey, this game was announced in VR. What'd you think?
I'll give my viewpoint on the game shown today, but just an overall impression and whatever. We'll get there. We'll get
there. Phantom Blade Zero looks fucking amazing.
That I was yelling day one in my house. I was like, day one! That looked incredible to me, and I think it's running on Unreal Engine 5. Then they put a blog, or not a blog, a tweet out saying what it's running on and a couple other things. That looked incredible to me. That was one of my best games of the show, actually, the entire show, other than Spider-Man 2. But that
Go ahead.
It reminded me of Omnimusha. I don't know if it reminded me of that in the beginning. Like, are they coming out with a brand new Omnimusha? I'm like, come on.
From the PS2?
No. Yeah. Like a new version of that game. Like a newer, next-gen, brand new. But, yeah. But go ahead, man. I'm sorry I keep interrupting you.
No, hey, listen, this is a back and forth, man. This is not a dictatorship. This is a back and forth. And don't feel bad. Church interrupts me all the time. He finds it fun.
All right.
So, so
Right.
Hero Down Under just brought up a amazing, amazing thing in here. Let me hop back in here, see if it's actually going to load. Um, he said, "I hope it's not a Souls-like," and I 100% agree. I'm tired of
I
all the
agree.
coolest looking settings in games having to be tied to a game that can
Yeah.
kick my ass. It's gonna piss me off. Like it's
We've got enough of them. I don't need any more. We've got a whole library full of those type of games. They're cool. I enjoy them, but yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, I don't need another Souls.
I don't. And the one
No,
thing I'll say is because it did show gameplay. It wasn't full cinematic. It showed gameplay. And I will be 100% honest, it looks way too fast to be a Souls-like.
I said the same thing. Yeah, because of the frames and how fast the gameplay was, I'm like, this is not a Souls game. Nothing against Souls games, I like them, but the Souls games to me are a little are slower paced, gameplay wise. This was fast.
Yes, the
Yeah.
maneuvers that he was doing, all that,
Oh,
like
bro.
when he
Oh,
jumps up out of
man.
the ground and is floating in the air and like hits all three of the things in front of him.
Yes. The combat. The combat, the sword play. I was like, what the fuck is this shit? I gotta have it. Day one. Yeah.
Dude, it got me
Day one.
freaking hyped. I was like, because it was the way it did it. It was heist or not heist. That movie. It was uh shit. That's how forgettable the freaking title is. It's the one by Haven Studios, and then they did
Yeah.
this one, and I'm sitting here like, you have got to be kidding. This, and I thought Rise of Ronin. I automatically thought Rise of Ronin. I was like, okay, cool. We're getting Rise of Ronin. Great way to introduce it. Great way to show us what it's gonna be. Fair games. There we go. Thanks, Josh. And like, then I saw that it was Phantom Blade, and I was like, Phantom? That's a black sword. I'm a samurai with a black sword. Oh, I
Yep.
don't even care now. This is the game is
Yeah.
mine. Like
Yeah. Any worries went out the window. Like, no, this is a day one purchase for
this
me.
is
Yeah.
this is
Day
a
one.
100% day one
Yeah.
purchase, and it was fantastic. We're not going to talk about Ghost Runner 2. I don't care about Ghost Runner 1. Uh,
Yeah.
Helldivers. Do you have anything to say about Helldivers?
Nah, I didn't play the first game, so I don't. The Helldivers 2, what they showed today with the co-op, it kind of looked like SOCOM third-person view, and I'm cool with that. It looked good to me, the trailer. I liked it, but I didn't play the first one. But it didn't blow me away. But I'm not gonna not check out the game. It did look good to me though. But I didn't
Oh,
play the first Helldivers, no, so I
I
don't know
didn't
much
either.
about it.
Somebody earlier was saying that it looked very like the first one was isometric, and
Yeah.
this one's going to be third person, and that kind of changed his tune on it too, because he was like, man, I don't like isometric games that much, at least not in this style, which you know, hang on, sorry, I had to clear my throat. The There was a game that came out a while back. It's a multiplayer game. It's a Warhammer game, and it's set very much in an isometric setting. And so, like, I've played it. It was cool. I got like far enough in it to join a guild or alliance or whatever the heck it is. And then that's when I realized the game was dead. So I didn't play it anymore. But isometric's okay, but that third person view did look interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
He goes, man, that's honestly what has me most hyped is that
That
Helldivers game.
view. Yeah, yeah. I
Uh,
don't like the over the top view for the Helldivers one. I saw gameplay after I watched the trailer tonight, and I was like, that's not my type of game for this for Helldivers. The part two looked like a different game to me. Different viewpoint, different camera. It looks like they flipped the game around. It's not the over the top view like Helldivers one was. So it looked good. Um, yeah, that, I'll probably pick it up when it comes out.
okay.
Just to give it a
So
shot. So
anything else that stood out? We got a couple indie titles. We got Grand Blue Fantasy Relink, which actually, that if it wasn't coming out this winter, right? If it comes out this winter and they mean January, then That'll probably be a day one for me, just because I'm a JRPG nut
Yeah.
job. But outside of that, man, I was really hoping for Final Fantasy IX remake. As a matter of
Yeah.
fact, when I saw a couple of these JRPG titles or more Japan style, I was like, no way. Is this it? Is this it? Is
Yeah.
this it? Like, can we? Oh, what is this? I was like,
The same thing. I was hoping. Yep.
I was
Even
like,
Stellar Blade. I would have loved to see Stellar Blade today. They didn't
dude.
show any Stellar Blade. But I don't even know when the game comes out. It comes out this year, I think. But they
Well,
didn't
that was
show
the
any of that
thing. Like,
in the show today.
it's not
I
even
was,
available for pre-order yet,
yeah.
or is it?
I don't know. No, I don't believe so. I don't think. I don't even know if it's on a wish list yet for Stellar Blade.
Because that's a game that I
Yeah.
am buying day one. Because when it first got announced, I thought we were getting a Parasite Eve, or not a
That's
Parasite Eve. Is that the right one?
no, yeah, no. You're at the right
Yeah, yeah,
one.
yeah.
No, exactly. Yep.
Stellar, yeah, not Stellar Yams. Dear God, I'm still typing like I'm on Twitter. Hang on. Stellar.
I'll do it. I'll do it real quick. I'm on PlayStation anyway. I'll put it in. Stellar Blade. I want to know myself. You're not the only one, so
It's
I want to
it's
know.
not even close. Dear God. Okay.
Oh
So
man. Yep. No dice.
I made a comment earlier. I can't wait to see how thin my wallet's gonna feel after this. Dog, my wallet is feeling great right now. Like it's like, yeah, you know what?
Yeah.
We're good. We're fine. I don't need
Yeah.
much of
Let
this
me
at all.
let me finish the games I have first, please. Like every time I try to complete something, PlayStation puts out another title that I have to play. I'm like, stop. Just chill out for a little bit. Let me get caught up.
Yeah. So, Metal Gear Solid, what's your take on it?
I'm looking forward to it. It looks awesome, but what got me a little bit agitated was it was CGI. Like I was waiting for actual gameplay footage of it. So until I see gameplay, I'm not gonna. The trailer was cool for CGI, and I look forward to the game. I love Metal Gear Solid, but I want to see gameplay. And no gameplay today kind of irritated me a little bit. And I believe isn't it coming out on Xbox too?
It is.
I think.
It
Yeah.
is.
So just a bunch of things with the way they showed it today wasn't what I expected. I expected more, at least some gameplay, a little bit, not much, at least something. So that was my take on it. It was good. The CGI, I look forward to it. It's probably going to be a day one for me, but I was hoping for more regarding it.
I need to see. I'm like you. I need to see more. And the reason
Uh-oh.
why I need to make sure that they've reworked the combat a little bit in it because I hate games that force a ton of stealth, and it always felt that way. So there were a few games I never played when I was younger. Siphon Filter,
Splinter
Splinter,
Cell.
Splinter
Oh,
Cell.
you didn't play, man, brother. All right, I'm off the show.
Okay,
Goodbye.
bye.
I'm just kidding, though. Goodbye. I'm done. You didn't play Splinter Cell? Never mind.
No,
Wow.
I have rented and touched every single one of those. But it's always with that fucking stealth meter at the top. Kiss my rear end.
It was bullshit, wasn't it?
I hated that. All I remember was being
Yeah,
in a
we hated
cave
it.
and trying to like sneak over to a platform and not being able to for like an hour. And I was like, yeah, F it. And I was just done.
You had no patience for it. You're like, screw this shit, I'm done. My
No,
patience
and
is gone.
I had
No.
none. And then I tried to play Metal Gear Solid Phantom Pain, and the first level when you're in the hospital, it's like it
Yes. Yeah,
forces
I
some
remember
stealth
that.
on you freaking starting out. And I'm like, what the hell, guys? Like, why? Make this later when I actually give a rip about the story and about the game and am gonna just stomach it. I hate the stealth missions in Spider-Man. Like, it's not it I don't I'm an equal opportunity for these things. I hate them in every game.
You don't
Like,
gravitate towards them at all. You avoid them. You
uh,
obviously have to complete it to finish the game, but you'll skip it for the most part. Any kind of stealth
it's the reason I don't
missions.
have the platinum in Spider-Man.
Because of no stealth. Are you?
because because
Oh
I never
man, bro.
finished all the stealth trials, and
Uh,
anytime it said to kill so many things with stealth, I didn't. because no. It's the reason why I loved games like Far Cry 3, because you could go into those encampments super stealthy, or you could go in there guns blazing, and it was like whichever one you want to do, have at it.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
my type. That's
uh,
It's like with Souls games. I think I would love the story in some of these Souls titles, like Bloodborne or Demon Souls or Dark Souls 2. Like, I think I would actually love the stories in these.
yeah.
But
So would I. So
I
would I.
have no freaking patience because I get an hour to an hour and a half of game time about 5 nights a week. And outside of that, I don't get a lot. Now, there are some times, you pop in a game and it really captures you, and you look up and you're like, oh crap, I started this at 9. It is 2 o'clock in the morning. I need to go to bed. But, like,
Uh,
most of the time, I have a hard cap in the games in the time frame that I have. And so I'm not wanting to sit and deal with having to figure out boss moves and do all that crap. So if you gave me a Souls game and let me downgrade the difficulty so I can play it the way I want, I guarantee you'll get my
yeah.
money, and I guarantee you will have a fan in your franchise. But
You just want
instead,
options in gameplay to tailor to your what you like, just to have
yes,
options there. Yeah,
yes.
I could see that. Yep, yep,
Like, that's it.
100%.
I just want options, and I want to be able to know
Oh,
that I can play. So here's the thing: Horizon Forbidden West, you can put that thing on the hardest difficulty, and the machines will literally kick your rear end for half the game. Good job. Like, but for somebody like me, I'll either play on normal or story. One, because in story you don't have to pick up all your stuff most of the time; it just does it for you. And then also,
uh,
I don't necessarily like level grinding outside of JRPGs because, everybody's a little inconsistent, so I have to have something that I'm not consistent on. But so let's get to VR, okay? Because I wanted to hit MGS. I need to bitch too, don't feel bad. That's right.
welcome to the complaining podcast. Yeah, we're
That's
welcome. You're here.
We have mentioned quite a few good things, okay? We've
We
mentioned a couple
have,
things we're
yes,
talking day one purchase on, like
yeah,
Phantom Blade,
100%.
day one purchase. Heist, or damn it, they should have just called the damn game Heist. Fair Games, I'm actually considering it, and that Bungie title looks super fun.
It
So
does. It does.
let's get into VR. I don't know about VR. I am so happy. I've had this night planned with Social Destruct for shoot 3 weeks now, and I had no idea that the PlayStation Showcase was just going to line up this way. So here we go.
Neither did I.
Let's do it this way. And I'm sure you probably could have gone on 15 other shows, so I'm glad you came to mine. I appreciate that.
No, I appreciate you.
So let's get into here. So first one on the list is the VR mode. What's your thoughts?
I'm sorry you broke up. I didn't hear the whole thing.
Oh, I'm sorry.
On the no, it's okay. It's YouTube. It's not you.
Resident Evil 4 Remake VR mode.
That's what I've been waiting for with Resident Evil 4. There's been so many versions of RE4. None of them interest me except the VR version of it, because that I want to play that in a first-person view. So when they have a Resident Evil game in VR, what they do is they switch it to first-person mode, and it's a completely different experience. When you play a Resident Evil VR game, you will lose your mind. It is one of the best experiences in VR if you like horror. So it looked great to me, but they didn't have a release date, so no time frame, no anything about when it's coming. So that's what kind of disappointed me. I'm like, is it 2023, 2024? Like what? When is it coming out? Like it's already day one, but we don't know about it when it's coming out. And they did show it in a Capcom showcase 2 years ago, so we've always known it was going to be out, but. Just not having a release date today on this specific game, it was disappointing to me.
Okay. Now,
That aspect of it.
one of the things. So remember, we talked earlier about how they didn't elaborate on a freaking thing, right? So we're relying on other sources now to give us like information.
Yes, yeah.
So
Uh,
it's going to be free. It's going to be free just going to be a free update for those who own the PS5
uh,
version of Resident Evil 4. So that's kind of cool.
that is.
It's
Yeah.
not going to be something that you have to pay an extra 30, 40 bucks for as a standalone, which I think is awesome. And I do believe that Sony's counting this as one of their 97 VR titles still in the works. But
It's a headset seller. It's a Resident Evil Village for VR2 right now. Not Resident Evil 4 is a VR headset seller. It is. It's a game will sell headsets. That's how good it is in VR. So not downplaying the game, it looks phenomenal. But again, we don't know when the release date is, so they're basically just showing the same thing as the Capcom. Well, no, they didn't show gameplay in the Capcom showcase. They just said it was coming to VR2. But
right,
yeah,
probably.
it was a good showing of it. It looked really cool. It looks really good in VR. But they need a release date today for that. Because you want headsets to sell for the holidays, right? You want more headsets to be sold. This is a system seller, and without a release date, it's hard to determine when if it's coming out next year or this year. We don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. I mean, here's the deal. I really want to be able to spin this in some way that makes me, but it's really hard. So, what do you think about the other one, the Five Nights at Freddy Gets Fingered? What do you think about that?
They had a good showing tonight for VR, but the issue that I have with it is the games that they did show, other than RE4, was all well, it was all third party support. But the games that they showed today have already been shown, that have already been announced. That Synapse game looks really, really cool, but it's already been announced. Same thing with RE4. Same thing with the Freddy's game. The one that was new that they didn't announce before was Arizona's Sunshine. And I played the first game. Anybody that is hesitant to pick it up for VR2, it's an awesome game. I highly recommend it. I played the first one. So I don't need to see gameplay of that specific game. It's a really good game, but for the most part, the VR2 showing was the games that they showed were good, but it was disappointing to me because of a lack of first party support for VR2.
So, what about stuff like, Beat Saber is now available for PSVR 2, and that's out today. It's like out right now. And it's a free upgrade for those who owned it on PSVR. So I mean, like, stuff like that I think is at least a win, because it puts, we talked about it earlier.
Yeah.
It puts a game that wasn't available to PSVR 2 players in their hands. PSVR 2 players, y'all got more than the regular console gamer did today. Like, y'all at least
Yes,
have
I
a
agree with
game
that.
where you're able to play it now. I didn't get my Final Fantasy 16 demo that I was going to play 15 times until the game came out. Like,
Yeah, yeah, I
I
agree.
didn't
And the
get
thing with
that.
Beat Saber is that game is the COD of game sales, and VR as the COD. Beat Saber like sells bad. That game is an
Really?
automatic. That game is an automatic win. If you look on the PC VR side of it, on Quest, Oculus, Pico, all the other headsets, it's the sales and community, and it's the number one game as far as in VR on the other side, not console but PC. So it's a huge win for Sony to have it on VR too, like a native version of that game. So it's a huge win.
So what's your thoughts on a lot of these? It seems like the PSVR area, like in that space, it's a lot of either gimmicky games, or you have all racing. I'll give you that.
Yep.
Then you have zombie shooting games, and or zombie killing games, whatever form or fashion it takes. And then you have a lot of gimmicky titles. Is that, like, when are we gonna get the other stuff? When are we gonna get the cool
Well,
shit that you used to be able to go do at the malls? Like, you know what I mean?
the games out now are good. They're full games. There's nothing on VR2 right now that's a gimmicky game. They're all full games, full. It's not tech demos. They're full games. The library right now for VR2 is awesome. I'm playing Red Matter 2 right now. That's really pushing the VR hardware. I'm playing Walkabout Mini Golf, which is crazy as it seems. It's 8 people online. It's a social game. It is one of the best games to play in VR. It's so much fun. But there's story games. I mean, there's everything for VR 2 right now. So the games that they have are awesome. I recommend, if somebody wants to ask me what I recommend, I would easily tell them with VR 2. I recommend a VR headset, technology, everything else. But today was disappointing because they didn't show any first party support for it, which they needed to do that today they needed to do that today. They needed to drop a first party bomb, something to entice people that don't have a VR2 to go out and buy a headset.
So that actually brings me to a question because I just looked this up. They only showed 4 PSVR2 titles today. Not a single one of them was first party, and one of them was a just an upgrade, right? It was
Yeah.
the Beat Saber was cool that it's
Yes.
available now, but it's a game that's already been out, right?
Yeah. It's been
So
out for a while. Long time.
You mentioned this earlier, and I didn't pounce on it then because I wanted to kind of save it till now, till we got to kind of the point in the show where, we've talked about the VR. You said you had a lot to say. Have you said kind of what you wanted to? Because if you have more, I want to listen.
Yeah, no, that was my only disappointment today with VR2. Like I said, if anybody doesn't have a VR2 headset, I highly suggest getting one. I have spent more time in VR2 than flat screen games since that VR2 came out.
Flat
So
screen games, like
yeah,
those who play on flat screens are
2D.
peasant.
Right, flat screen 2D versions. I've played more in this damn VR headset than I have with any other game since its launch. So I highly recommend it if you have any doubts. Don't take today's showcase and think VR2 is not worth the purchase. It is. I highly recommend it. But they needed to drop some bombs today. I was expecting Half-Life Alyx, which is the number one game that has been rumored to be on VR2 for the past 2 years. They signed a deal with Gabe, supposedly, and no showing today. If they announced the Half-Life Alyx with upgraded visuals and made for the features of the VR2 headset, like the haptic feedback, that would have sold headsets off of the shelf instantly. The PC VR community would drop their PC VR headset and purchase a PS5 and a VR2 for that game. If they upgraded it, added exclusivity DLC to it, made it so it's more, so it has all the feedback like the headset and everything else, it would have instantly sold headsets. But yeah, I was disappointed with that too. That's the number one VR requested game. If you ask any VR hardcore gamer, that game is the number one.
You kind of mentioned this earlier. Are they resting on their laurels? Like, did we go from like having to curb stomp Xbox into the absolute dust to like, oh, nah, we're good. Did we go back to PS2 to PS3 handoff days? Like, that's what it feels like. It feels like we went backwards.
And it's a win-win for Valve. That's what's crazy to me. It's a win-win for Valve and PlayStation. The game has been out for 3 years. It's not a brand new VR game, but it set the technology to a high level that nobody's been able to beat the level of immersion that game has. VR was practically built on Half-Life Alyx, the previous VR generation. So that game is highly respected in the VR community. And if that game dropped today, you would have seen people instantly flock to VR2 that are on VR for the PC community. They would have flocked.
Yeah, okay.
But it's a win.
Josh has a question. He says it depends. Does Valve see it as a... I think he's saying, does Valve still sell a VR console or a VR headset?
They do. They sell the HTC. Valve was the ones that helped fund the HTC Vive. I have a HTC Vive. I started on PC VR before VR on PlayStation. So this VR2 is my first VR headset on the PlayStation side. I was a PC VR gamer since its infancy back when it started on PC. But VR2 is my first into the PlayStation VR side. I didn't do VR 1. I skipped it.
Gotcha. I was wondering why you had mentioned that you didn't play Ace Combat 7 in VR. I was like, man, I thought you was a
Yeah,
VR from like way back, but that makes
I
sense.
am.
You are,
Yeah.
but you're way back. Like,
Yes. I'm way back. Yeah, when it's infancy. The
you,
headset for my HTC Vive that I have, I spent $800 for at the time. That's how dedicated I was. I played Half-Life Alyx, and that was it for me. That made me actually pick up and get a VR headset on PC, was Half-Life Alyx. That changed everything for me in VR.
that's
Everything.
see, and that's so we got Alan Wake 2, which that's cool.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know, man. It's so there's two thoughts right now, right? There's the people who are really going to come out and say, well, Jeff Keighley has to, or PlayStation has to be saving some stuff for Jeff Keighley's Summer Games Fest. Cool. Why wasn't this shit saved for Summer Games Fest and us given the really cool stuff,
Right. Yeah.
or the way that they've been doing this with the state of plays being so focused around, like, you had the indie state of play, then you had the Final Fantasy 16 state of play, you had the Forspoken state of play, but they've done the indie type where it's just one type of focus, right? It's that genre that's being, or not that genre, but that section of games that's being focused on. What if, and just hear me out, what if in their own stupidity, because yes, PlayStation was really stupid today, what if in their own stupidity they have said, hey, why don't we let Summer Games Fest get out of the way, and then we'll do a state of play for first party and show Spider-Man release date in July or August? Like, do you think there's any validity? Do you think they're sandbagging a lot of stuff?
I think they are. Today it seemed like they were holding back. Like they were holding back for another show, or I got that feeling from today's show that the reason why they didn't show their first parties, they're holding back. I think they're going to do a first party, like a state of play for first party, later. I don't know when, but that's my opinion on it. But yeah, they definitely held back today.
So do you think they have something in, like, or that the devs needed more time?
To me, it's been a 2-year gap since the last showcase. Today they should have had more first party. At least show gameplay of something. You think about it, it's been a 2-year gap between the showcase. So today they should have shown. But that's the only thing I can think of, that they've got something coming up for the first party only, and why they held back. I think they wanted one showcase first party, which was Spider-Man 2, and that was it. I think they're holding back for a reason. It doesn't seem normal for Sony to do that, to hold back like they did today with first party.
So here's my thoughts. So there's a few games that we're waiting for first party, right? We're waiting for Factions. Yeah. We're waiting for Death Stranding 2.
Yes.
Those are two games that we really want to see. But
no Factions.
No Factions, dude.
Come on.
I called this shit a couple weeks ago. Like, no, Factions won't be in a showcase. They won't. Because Jeff Keighley and Neil Druckmann have, like, some weird love affair where I think that's the game that's getting announced at Summer Games Fest. Because
you think?
Well, Jeff Keighley's show has always been the one link to Last of Us. It was where the Last of Us remake got done. It was where they showed the artwork for Factions. Like, it's been that show and that avenue for that. And so I also think that Sony is really being too cautious.
They're being too complacent.
I thought it was weird from the very start that they went first. Okay? Sony never goes first.
No, you're right. Yeah, I didn't realize that. They are never first. Yeah.
It's like Eminem on a song that he's featured on. He goes last. If he goes first, that song's a little suspect, generally speaking. Like,
so maybe that's why they had the showing today. Like I mentioned, since they always go last, we're going to have the showcase first and have a first party afterwards at another showing.
That's the only thing I can think of. Because it'd be really weird for them to go from super like intelligent and setting everything up very well to what we got today. Like this was very uncharacteristically Sony today.
Very uncharacteristic. 100%, bro. Completely, yeah. Yeah, completely un. At a point, I'm like, am I watching a Sony showcase? I don't want to sound like at certain points, like, why is this here? Like, and you say the Game Fest, right? I
Yeah.
can't wait for Mortal Kombat 1. Did you see that shit? I know it's CG, but they're doing their gameplay reveal at Games Fest. Why did they show Street Fighter today when they've had a beta out for a week? I would have liked to see Mortal Kombat 1 on today's showcase.
Or Tekken.
Or Jeff.
Shit. Tekken
Yes.
would have been great.
Yes, either one. Tekken's being worked on. It's been for a while. Why are you showing Street Fighter? You have a beta out. It didn't need to be there. They should have done Mortal Kombat 1 since you did the trailer, which I can't wait for. I'm a huge Mortal Kombat fan. Not like I sound I'm not. And Tekken too. I would love to see Tekken. I'm a Tekken fan also. But yeah, I just not see since you said Jeff Keighley, that's why I said Mortal Kombat, because he's going to be showing the premiere of gameplay from MK1.
Right, so like, do we think that Jeff Keighley like has? Do we think his show is more attractive to developers than the PlayStation show?
Maybe. Yeah,
Like, I'm not trying to start
possibly.
shit, but like,
No, it's a valid point.
come on.
Oh, I definitely see that because his game awards, the game Summer Fest is more dev centric anyway, where he has them all show off the game and they show the yeah, I can see that point being made. 100%.
It felt very much like two things. You mentioned it. Sony was holding back today, and I don't know why. For some reason, I don't like his platform. Dude, me either. Like, I'm not a fan of Jeff Keighley. I think he's extremely fake, and he tries to be a showman, and he's not very good at it.
Yeah.
Like,
He tries too hard, it seems. Like, you're trying too hard, bro. You're not
Right.
being yourself. You're not genuine to me. You're too, I don't know. Yeah, I agree with that.
well, and it'd be like me
Hey.
if I came on here and I was like, "What's going on, guys? We're gonna get started on this. This is gonna be a great like." That's not me. That
No.
is some guys, and God love them. I watch some of their podcasts, but like, that's not me. And so, it's very much like when he comes out, he has that fake smile on his face the whole show. And I'm like, bro, you can't tell me that dog shit that you just showed us you're actually excited about. Like, you can't. You just stop it.
Yeah, no, yeah, I agree. When he has his premieres and you take notice. He has good reveals for games. He does
He does.
on his yeah. So I could see that. I think going forward, I think Sony's just going to do state of plays. They're going to have their big first party studio game come out, and they'll just do a state of play before it and be done with it.
So somebody in the chat just brought this up. Let's see. It was Josh Ayers. By the way, Josh, thanks for stopping by tonight, man. It says PlayStation was listed as part of Summer Games Fest, but the show today didn't have any of the Summer Games Fest branding, which is true.
True.
Like, Jeff Keighley had tried to come out and say, yeah, Sony's show is part of Summer Game. But, like, no, because if there's one thing I know about that dipshit, he likes to put his name on everything. Like, and here's the deal. I have nothing against him. I think he's fine. Somebody pointed out in the chat he's a great networker and he brings people together. And yes, awesome. But, like, his shows just aren't. I fast forward through most of them. I never watch his shows live. I always just go back and check him out later because I don't want to see 90% of the crap he's going to show. But
I just forwarded to the gameplay.
you're right.
I skip
Just,
when he's on. That's it. Yep. All right. See you, Jeff.
I watched the
Have a
God
good
of War Ragnarok live orchestra, which was
yeah. Phenomenal. Yeah.
my whole I don't even know if I breathed through that entire performance. It was so awesome. But like, I fast forward because I don't like it. It's not what I'm there for. I'm there for the games, and I watch the Outriders
Mm.
devs because I absolutely freaking love that game, and screw anybody who doesn't. Like, it's a fantastically fun game. And so, anyways, Jeff Keighley does a lot of stuff, and I think that we will end up seeing more at his show, which would suck because like why did you unless they had some sort of agreement worked out, like Last of Us information only gets shown here. That's where they announce the series. That's where like they've done a
Yeah.
ton of stuff on like his shows. And so I don't know, man. It bothered me. So we've talked about it a little bit. We've hinted at it. What are some of the things that, like, give me three things that you wanted to see today that weren't there?
One of which I already mentioned, Half-Life Alyx. I really wanted to see that today. An upgraded version, not just a simple port, but an actual upgraded version with possible DLC exclusivity for PS5. That was one of them. Bloodborne, I really wanted to see that today. A new Bloodborne or either a remake of the or 60 frames, upgrade for the first one, the original one. And what's the third one I wanted to see? And I wanted to see a first party big blockbuster AAA game on VR2. Half-Life isn't first party, but that's what I wanted to see today. Those three things did not happen, and that's kind of disappointed by that. Especially Bloodborne. And if Half-Life to me, if Half-Life Alyx wasn't mentioned today, and Bloodborne wasn't mentioned today, then close the book. It's not coming. Today was the day to show those. Today. I'm sorry. That's how I feel about it. If it was not released today, I don't, or not released. It wasn't shown today, then cross it. I'm not expecting Half-Life Alyx coming out, and I think their IP for Bloodborne. I don't think Sony cares about it anymore to continue it. I
No.
may tick people off, but that's just how I feel about it. I want a new Bloodborne remake, but just because they're not showing it today, I think today was the day to show it.
Do you think it got shelved like
I
Days Gone 2 did?
I think so. I hate to say that I want the game to come, like everybody else. I do, but today was the day to show it, and I think they closed the book on it. I have a lot of things. Yeah, I believe that. Same thing, like I said, with
Okay.
Half-Life Alyx. Same thing with Half-Life Alyx. I do not expect that game on VR2 anymore. Today was the day to show it.
Oh, jeez. So you
It
you
was.
push the explode button is what you've done.
I did. It shot through the hemisphere, and yeah, I expected it today because the showcase has been 2 years. They've been silent for 2 years, and they said today was the day it was going to be PS5 and VR2 focused and some third party. To me, it seemed like it was going to be the second phase of PS5 and VR2. VR2 had the soft launch. The PS5, the supply chain was in bad shape. It wasn't good. VR2 was not in stores yet, so now that the supply chain problem is fixed on PS5, and you can walk in any store and get a VR2, and with the announcement that it made over 600,000 units have been sold for the unit itself, today was the day to entice people to come over to VR2, and they dropped the ball today. I'm a Sony fan, and I have a right to say that, and I will say that. They dropped the ball today. They
You can
did.
be a fan and not be delusional. Like I think
Correct.
that's where some of the Xbox guys forget. Like you can be a fan and
Yes.
still call it straight down the middle. Like I I was hoping.
So,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
no, go ahead. I meant to put myself on mute. Wasn't
Oh,
me. Go ahead.
sorry.
Go. No.
So I was hoping my top three. I wanted, and Hero made is going to make me do a top four because he pointed out the new Uncharted, and I wanted a new Uncharted. Naughty Dog said they're finished with it, but there is confirmation that they've handed it off to another studio, which is great. Show me the studio. Let me have the damn game now. Let me play as Cassie Drake because that's the next logical conclusion. And I think she would be fantastic. Her and her little friend group with possibly help from her mom and dad on occasion. Like, I think they could do it, and I think it would work well. So, Uncharted, RP Gaming, have a good night, man. Thanks for stopping by. I really appreciate it. I know there's about 1,000 other streams right now going, so uh, I haven't had a night this low in a long time. But like they always tell me, it happens to everybody. It's super common, and you just try again next time. But um, the um, the games that I wanted, Uncharted 4, I'm sorry, Uncharted 5. I wanted Ace Combat 8. I wanted an acquisition mentioned or given, right? I wanted to know why you just sold off $8 billion of your financial group. Because if it wasn't just for acquisitions, that means you're bleeding money somewhere, and that's not good. Like those are the only two options. You only sell off something to make yourself look more financially stable, or you sell it off in order to purchase something else. So if we don't start getting some acquisition news, people are going to start assuming it's because they were bleeding money and needed to be bailed out by themselves. So those were three things that I wanted, and then I wanted Square Enix to have a better showing. I wanted, and no, let me rephrase that. I wanted First Party to have a better showing. We didn't hear from
Yeah.
Sucker Punch, Santa
Yeah.
Monica, uh, Gorilla,
Naughty Dog.
Naughty
Nothing.
Dog.
No.
Like the only
Weird.
top studio, the only one of the big five that we heard from was Insomniac. And is Insomniac just gonna like raw dog this whole like PS5 like generation? Like it's 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 like they just took like they're working on what, three projects right now? Like
At least, yeah.
it's
That's what it's been rumored to be. At least three
it's
projects. Yeah.
it's I'm just like, damn, I can't get any information about one, and y'all told us y'all are working on three. Good God Almighty! Like, come on, give us something. That was my biggest
Mhm.
takeaway. Is even though you gave us things, you didn't give us the things that we were all expecting. And so in my title, I put expectations versus reality. In reality, if I went into this show with zero expectations, I would have looked at it and gone, huh, there's about half the things I like, about half the things I'm never going to touch. But, about half of the things that I'm never going to touch, I'd probably understand why certain people would, like the Cat Quest game. Obviously, it has a following because they've made three of them now. Like, games don't keep getting released if they don't sell. That's just a fact. So there are certain games that I can look at and go, you know what? That game, it's made for somebody, and I can definitely see the appeal. The Foam Party game, there's going to be Square Enix nut jobs who are going to grab that thing day one, and it's going to run at 60 frames per second. It's going to be gorgeous. It's going to have the Square Enix patented burst effects. Like, they're not actually patented, but they do burst effects better than damn near anybody else when it comes to their video games. And like Josh Ayers, he just said, I'll give it a try. Like there's a lot of people who are gonna give it a try. So like you have these games coming out that I see a market for. So unbiased, unfiltered opinion, I think the showcase was a 7. That's what I'd give it. Because 50% of it, I'm sitting here going, yeah, Metal Gear Solid, if they do that thing right, I'm buying it. The the fair games, that looks really fun and
Mhm.
interesting, especially if it's a live service, especially if it's free to play. Oh, I'm definitely jumping in on that. The marathon game from Bungie, that looked interesting. Like I don't need to have every game be, oh, I'm buying it day one, but make me interested. Make me at least have that moment of, dang, that's on my radar now. Like Immortals of Avium is actually not Immortals of Avium. That was shown today. The other one that has the like you're in the sand dunes and
Helldivers? No.
no, it wasn't
No,
shown
no, no.
today.
Oh,
Uh,
wasn't show.
it
Okay.
was
I don't know.
it's almost like it has the Forspoken type of parkouring in it, but it's a third person action game, and I can't remember what the heck it is, but it looked really cool. And like, give me stuff like that, things that are gonna make me go, huh, Is that my next game that Solar Ash?
I think that's what it was. Yeah, wasn't it a F2P game, a free to play that you're talking about? It was like a
No, 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 no,
massive.
no,
No.
no, no, no.
Oh,
This one
all right.
is
I have to see it. Yeah.
shoot, man. Oh, it's gonna bother me. Third person game in sand with Forspoken movement. That will give me a hit because everybody was relating it to Forspoken when it came out. Um, Atlas Fallen. Ta-da. Atlas Fallen has my interest. Some of the games shown today have my interest. A couple of them I'm probably going to purchase day one, like that freaking Phantom Blade. That's in my living
Oh,
room day one. Final Fantasy 16, I'll never get tired of seeing Final Fantasy 16 because I am going to absolutely lose hours of my life into that game. Spider-Man 2 in 4K looks fantastic. So like there
yeah.
was a lot of stuff that I saw that at least piqued my interest. And then there was enough stuff that made me go, you know what? Somebody will actually really enjoy this game. And there's probably quite a few people who are going to enjoy this game. That's why they're making them. Cool. You have indie guys who like love that art style of that one game in the woods or whatever it was, with like the glowing uh, reindeer or elk or whatever the hell that thing was.
Mm.
Like those games look cool, and I can appreciate them. But then we had crap like Street Fighter 6. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. I've I don't care. I didn't even download the stupid demo. I have zero F's to give about that game. And
Same.
so
Same.
like it's,
Same. I didn't play the beta. Like it's a good game. I'm not, but it's not something I gravitate to in fighting. It's either Tekken or Mortal Kombat or Soul Calibur. Those are the three fighting games for me.
for
I've
me,
never
it
been
was
to Street
after
Fighter.
Street Fighter 2 they
Yeah,
changed the art style and I absolutely hated it.
yeah. Me neither. Yeah,
Sony
same,
is pushing
same.
PS Plus day one. Do we think that some of these will be there day one? Okay, so Josh just asked that question. So I know what Jim Ryan said. We don't do day and date releases. If we do, they'll be very few and far between. Do we think some of these indie games are that they're going to be using them as PlayStation Extra kind of shovelware, like the other
Maybe
service does?
it could be. I could see that happening. Yeah. There was two games that said they were PS5 and PC, but they were live service games, weren't they? They said two, but it didn't say like they said both at the same time. It seemed like day and date, but
Yes,
I mean
yes,
that's what it was. But no, I don't. It
yes.
could,
Sorry, I was
it
thinking
could,
yes.
yeah, it could possibly happen. I could see Josh's point.
Just like,
Them
but then
becoming
you're
that way.
just doing fodder. Like it's, you're just doing Game Pass fodder bullshit.
Yes, that's what I saw when they said running on PC. That's what I immediately thought on the showcase. I'm like, why is this here? I'm not a PC gamer. I'm not. I'm a console gamer. Is it the same shit?
I was like,
Why is this
no,
here? No.
no, this is Redfall all over again. What are y'all
Yeah.
doing?
Yeah. And it wasn't even, it looked interesting. The game looked cool on PC. I got to give it that. It looked cool. But that wasn't today was not the place for it. It wasn't.
No,
It looked cool. But
I'm not saying it's good. I'm saying maybe that's what they were doing. Yeah. No,
I
let
don't,
yeah.
yeah. I don't
I
know.
mean, Josh, you bring up a good point. Like that. But if they do that and then it becomes indie shovelware, it's almost like you're telling your indie devs, "Hey guys, you're not going to sell your games, so let's just give you some money and have you put on our." That's
Uh-huh.
fucking
Day and date
Game
on
Pass.
PC. Yeah, on day and
That's
date on PC. Yep, that's exactly Game Pass. Yeah.
that's Game Pass.
Oh. Why
Like,
didn't we see the Game Pass logo today in the showcase?
oh dear
Now on
God.
PlayStation, now on PSN, get Xbox Live announced.
Oh
No.
my God. I
Uh,
would lose
Thank you,
more than my
Josh. I
shit.
appreciate your question. Thanks a million.
Yes.
Great job.
No, I just wanted, dude. It
Yeah,
honestly,
moving on. No.
yeah. Moving on.
Uh,
Let's talk about happy stuff.
yeah.
Actually, I
Yeah.
have one more
No.
depressing thing. Actually, everybody just left. I think it was YouTube that gave us a blip. But
Oh
um,
no.
dude, I was watching Reforge earlier. He's an awesome show that I just put on in the background when I'm at work. Like it's
His
so
show is good.
awesome
Yeah.
during football during off season because like I have something I get to listen to at work and I love it. Oh, Hero's still here. Sweet. Maybe it
His
only
show is a good
affected
show.
my American guys. Um, but his viewership went from like 1.2 thousand or 1,200 to like 800 in a blip. And it was because
Uh,
YouTube like reset so many people's devices at once. It was
oh no.
terrible.
Oh God.
And then like chat kept freezing and it was just bad, man.
Bad experience altogether.
And it's
No.
because the PlayStation Showcase freaking broke YouTube today.
I can
But
imagine, but they always do. Anytime Sony does some kind of showing, it always breaks records and
yeah, I mean,
stops
it's like you could
traffic.
tell when they were like messing with the servers because everything was glitching.
Uh,
And I don't know if it's because there's so many folks streaming tonight because here's the thing. I almost didn't do my show tonight because one of the guests I had on 2 weeks ago was Porter Rock, and he's doing a show right now or was earlier. And so like I don't like stepping on people's toes, and there's a few people in the community that I like respect, and so I don't do shows on their nights, you know. And but it's man that showcase left me it left me feeling like and I'll just be
deep.
honest, it left me feeling like if the Xbox showcase is really good, I might go out and buy an Xbox also. And I've never had a secondary system in my house, ever.
Yeah, same, same.
It's, but I mean, if they're going to deliver the games for the next 18 months and PlayStation's sleeping, no. I'll I'll play something else. I'll deal with that jacked ass controller they have and like I'll play something else. But then again, I bring myself back to reality, reminding myself I have a backlog of 130 games right now that I've either not beat, not played, or like Hogwarts Legacy, dude. I got to the very final boss, beat the boss, and thought that was the end of the game, and I uninstalled the damn thing because
Wow.
you're back at Hogwarts and you're doing the little celebration and you're everybody's
Yeah.
happy and all that, and I'm like, oh, I can just finish up side quest or I can just stop. Well, I'll be done. I already have about 60 hours in the game. I'll be done. Apparently, I didn't beat the game. Like there's other shit I was supposed to do. So like
Oh no.
I have stuff to play because PlayStation has kept us well fed. The problem is, and here's start grinding plats. That's what I've been doing. Yeah, no, I do not grind for platinums. No, I have a platinum, all platinum, one in God of War Ragnarok, and that game is the first game I've ever platinum, and it'll probably be the only game I ever platinum. I don't chase trophies. I don't like all the stupid requirements. You have to kill somebody in the head with a bow 55 times and then you get a trophy. Yeah, fuck off. I'm not doing all that. It's just sorry. I have very strong opinions on trophy hunters and people who use trophies as a way to say they're real gamers. Like blow me. That's not how that works. That's not just because you're a trophy hunter, awesome. That means you probably have more time to game than I do. Like, but I think gamer is, one of the things that I love about the Saltiest Gaming Pod is that we don't gatekeep. Like, we don't, oh, well, you're only a JRPG gamer. You're not a real gamer. Screw off. That's not, no. Or like, oh, you don't play Souls titles. You're not a real gamer. Shut up. Like, No.
Maybe I don't like the difficulty of it. That's the reason why I don't play it.
Right. Oh, well,
Yeah,
you're
no,
not good at games. You suck at video
yeah,
games.
yeah, yeah.
No.
Well, no. It doesn't work that way. I'm sorry. It don't.
Just
Not gaming.
well,
No.
no.
I've been
Not even
gaming a
up for
lot longer than you
discussion.
to tell me that. No. Yeah, not even discussion. No. I like the
Listen,
game. That's why I like Elden Ring more. Because it was a difficult game, but you weren't constricted in a certain area. Like you were free to run. Like, okay, I can't defeat this area yet, then I'll just take off and then try to go someplace else, and I'll come back to it later when I'm ranked high enough to come back. It was a difficult game, but I love that part of it.
so
So
I beat Margit the Feld and then I turned it off. So, and the way I beat that, first of all, I thought it was a she. Second of all, because I thought it was Margaret the entire time and not Margette. I thought it was Margaret because, yeah, anyways. And so I'm sitting there and I'm getting my ass whipped, right? So I do the thing that every gamer does when they get their ass whipped in a video game. I looked on YouTube and YouTube was like, hey, here's a way from the very beginning of the game to get 100,000 gold. Do this. And then there was another one that 2 hours in Elden Ring can get you your staff, or not your staff, but your glint, not your flint thing, the flint wand to
yeah.
cast magic and all that. And here's 2 spells and here's 2 summons. And so I spent about 3 hours doing all of that. And so when I went in to beat Margit, I beat the thing in like 2 minutes. There's a video on my channel about it actually. I beat it in like
Oh,
2 minutes. And that was my claim to fame in Elden Ring, and I got off the stupid thing because I was like, I'm completely done. The game glitches, it stutters, the frame pacing is god awful, it's not smooth. The PS4 version running on a PS5 played better than the native PS5 version, and even that
true.
wasn't enough to save it. Like, and so
No.
I put it up. I still have the freaking game in my backlog, but I hate them. But people who gatekeep and say, "Oh, well, Gran Turismo, right? Back
Yeah.
when GT 5 came out, I think it was either 4 or 5 where they started doing the licenses where you had to like complete all the trials to get the
Yeah.
license to use
I
those
remember that.
cars.
That was 4, I believe. Yeah.
It
All
was
the license stuff.
terrible. And that's why I have not picked up another GT game since then. Because I'm like, I don't ever want to do that again. Because it was like a Souls title in racing. Like, some of those things were like, well, you got to drift for 300 feet without stopping. And I'm like, fuck that. Just let me race. Like, let
Like
me just drive.
I don't want to get a license in a video game, but I have to do that in real life. I get away from that. Like I want to play the game now. I don't want to go through the trial of doing all these licenses. You want to get into the car and actually start driving right away. You don't want to go through all that. Yeah, I can see that. But the way they have it structured, though, you don't have to get like a gold trophy on or anything to move forward. Like you can get a bronze, just pass it at the bare minimum and still get the license. Like you don't have to, you
So
know,
it's still the
do
same.
an
Like, you
exception.
have to get those licenses still.
Yeah, they still have it as an option if you wanted to race some of the cars, but they have like a cafe, like a menu type thing to where they have these group of races you do and you win a car at the end of it. So the options are there. I mean, the licenses don't take that long. You just have to do 3 or 4 of them really. Get the basic bronze, the bare minimum on them, and then you can do relatively quickly. It doesn't take long to do. And then just go into the game and you start playing. So it's not as difficult and not a long process to get through it if you think it is. Like you're probably thinking a license, oh God, I got to go through this shit for hours and hours and hours. No, you don't. It doesn't take that long to do.
That's exactly what I thought, because that's how long it took
No,
me in
no,
4.
not this time. No, it won't take you long to do them. No.
Okay,
But what about the game is the social aspect of it? That's what I love about it.
yeah,
The
and
the social part of it.
if I get on, I mean, that's what interested me about Diablo 4. Now, I don't know if you've, in preparation for this, if you watched any of my other live streams to see how the show went or anything, but I went from being kind of on the fence about Diablo to being like, I'm going to purchase it. I talked to
Oh, I'm a
Salty.
Diablo mega fan. Oh, I'm a mega fan. I love Diablo. You kidding me? I pre-bought Diablo 4. I'm waiting for that shit right now.
So you're still getting it.
Oh, absolutely am. Diablo is, dude. Diablo is one of my favorite RPGs of all time. That's probably going to be my most played game this year is when that Diablo 4 drops. The betas, I don't know if you played them or if you're part of them, but they were fucking awesome.
So you're okay. Okay, this is not where the
No.
show was going to go, but it's where it's going to go now. So let's.
You
So here's the
mentioned it.
deal.
You brought it up.
I did. I did. Here's what we're going to do. I played
Yeah.
Diablo 1. I have probably, and I'm not even going to lie, I probably have
Eh,
about 1,000 to 2,000 hours in it. Because for the longest time, for my PlayStation 1, I had Diablo 2. Or I'm sorry, I had Diablo and I had Final Fantasy 7. Like, and so those were the two games that I played. We talked pre-show and I was broke as a child. So like any game that I had to get a lot of use out of. And so I played Final Fantasy 7 till it clocked out and wouldn't roll over. 99,
yeah.
99, 99. And I played Diablo, which didn't track your playtime.
No.
Back on the PS1, where it took 10 slots out of the 15 slot memory card just to save your
Uh,
game. And then it took actually 11 because you had to save your character also. And so it was one slot for your character and 10 slots for the actual game. I never played Diablo 2 because I'm not a PC player. I will repeat that until the day
yeah.
I die. I am not a PC player. And then I played Diablo 3, beat that with like two or three characters, and I was done because they were pushing seasons and I didn't want seasons. I didn't want to do all that crap. And plus, I didn't have anybody to play with, so I was like, whatever. I don't want to play with randos.
Yeah.
And so Diablo 2 Resurrected comes out, and I have beat that with two characters. And no, I'm sorry, I beat it with one, and I've started two others. A buddy of mine and I are playing it when we get the chance, and that's a necromancer, and then I have a sorcerer that I'm bringing up right now, and I'm building a storm sorcerer. So like, I've played every single one. Deckard Cain is probably my favorite NPC in any game I've ever played. I absolutely love Deckard Cain.
S-
I,
Same. Same.
he's I can actually listen to him like telling his stories or reading the tomes or however you want to
Uh,
pronounce it. Like I can listen to that forever. It's so good. The voice work is perfect for Kane. And so I've always loved the series.
yeah.
But Blizzard. Like,
I know. I know. I said the same thing. Yep. Same. Because
Overwatch 2.
I'm not into Overwatch,
It
so
doesn't matter. Same
it
same
doesn't matter to
company.
me. Yeah. I never got into Overwatch. Did you? I never got into the game. I
Okay,
know it's
World of
Blizzard, but
Warcraft Dragonflight.
I got into World of Warcraft. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so World of
Been.
Warcraft Dragonflight.
Yeah.
Like, they have a
Yeah.
habit of their big blockbuster games lately have been very, like, overpromise and way underdeliver. So, then they come out with Diablo and they're talking about seasons. Okay, cool. That's typical Diablo. No big deal, right?
And that's
Whatever.
usually end game too. That's usually
And
end
it's
game.
usually in game.
Yeah.
And but the crazy thing is, it's going to have story elements dropped every season.
Yeah.
So now you're telling me I'm not getting the full story from the jump, and every season I have to keep coming back for seasons just to get trickle fed this story? Well, what if it doesn't do well? What if you have to implement one of your crisis maps that you have, and one of the things that gets cut is, well, we didn't have the manpower to create the rest of the story. Sorry. Like, that's my biggest fear because I don't play them for the social aspect. I don't play them for the seasons, the ladders, all that bullshit. I play them because I want the story. Like, the story in this
Mhm.
one has my interest. I played like 2 hours of the beta.
Uh, what did you think of the beta? I like the fact that they're going back to their darker themes, like the darker Diablo themed theme with the beta. I like 3. I thought it was good, loved it, but just this one, the darker tone, is what I like more Diablo, like their old Diablo.
Yeah,
Like the new
3
game
felt very Tim
seems.
Burton.
Yes, yeah, yeah. The 4, the beta, that seemed, it had that aesthetic of like a Diablo 2, but next gen version of it, but with gameplay elements of 3 that I like. It looked like they took 2 different eras of Diablo and put them together in Diablo 4, in my opinion.
Oh, I agree,
And
and I love what they did with the
I
sorcerer.
love how they did that. Yeah, yeah. And I think, and you got to understand, when they make a new Diablo game, it's not a game that comes out once a year or every 2 years. When they make a Diablo game, they support that son of a bitch for years. Not 1 or 2 years, like literally 3 to 5 years. They'll support that game. So that's just the way they are with Diablo. They've always been that way. They don't just release a game and then just release the next one soon after. It's a long time. So I can see why they do that. They want to bring interest to the game. I like the fact that they're doing that. It gives it more support for the long run. It's not something they just made to be complete. They want you to keep going at the game. This is a way to do it, in my opinion. You don't like the fact that you're doing that, or that's not your type of game to do that?
So the thing that gets me is that you have to recreate your character every season. That's a problem. Now, you can get around that by just running the same character and leveling it up the exact
Yeah.
same way. Whatever. Like, but to make you create a new character from scratch, but if you purchase the season pass, it gives you that little level jump. Like, that's dirty. To tell me to put faith in you as a company that's going to keep a live service game up and running for a long time and not cancel certain aspects of it like you've done with 2 of your other major releases, like, you lost millions of players in World of Warcraft because of your Dragonflight fumble.
Yeah, that I can see. That I can see.
Like,
But
and
Overwatch, isn't that a free-to-play game?
oh
Is
dear
that an
God,
F2P game?
it is,
Or
it
no?
is, and that's how they're getting around it. Well, it's free.
Oh, yeah,
Like,
that's what I was asking. So,
I get it, but you pulled a Halo Infinite. You promised us something and then took it away and said, "No, I'm sorry. We've lost too many people." Well, they didn't say that, but if you put their crisis maps with what they've said about Overwatch, you can kind of put 2 and 2 together. Oh, we've lost people. We can't do this now. And so you have Overwatch 1 that they have made you rebuy skins for. And it's just it's it's like shaking hands with Bobby Kotick. Like, that would just make me have to use hand sanitizer afterwards. It feels dirty. It feels dirty. And so I went from being all gun ho, Salty's getting it. I think he already has it
yeah.
pre-ordered.
Yeah, so do I. Yep, I pre-ordered
You
it.
already
Yep.
got it, and I'm like,
Uh,
man, I'm starting to.
Retro is getting it. Yep.
Retro's getting it. There's several
Uh,
people getting it, and I'm like, man, maybe I could hop into the multiplayer. This sounds fun.
Yep.
Like,
Joy.
maybe I could do that. But then I was Josh A. said, I think I'd feel dirty being in a room with Kotek. He looks he looks so bad. Like, there's people you look at and go,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, I wonder about you. I'm not going to say
But
what I wonder because I don't want to get like hit with defamation, but I wonder about you. Like, there's just people that have that look, and
But
he's
I
one
don't
of them.
play Overwatch though. I don't play Overwatch to have an opinion on it. I don't play it. I know of it. I've seen it, but I never jumped into the game and been invested into that game long enough for me to have a huge opinion. I've been invested in Diablo, and from what I played on the beta, I love it, man. It's with the Diablo that I wanted 3 to be. Like, I like the darker tone, the old style, but take the old style and put the new gameplay elements into it. Like the way the quest system is. I love Diablo 2 remastered, or not remastered, re I forget what it's called. I have it. I like the gameplay
Resurrected.
of it. Resurrected, yeah. But the quest system in the old games, and you can tell, just not being able to know where to find a quest on the map, that annoys the crap out of me. I'm like, where is it on the map? Where do I have to fucking go? I love
so
Diablo
annoying.
2. It's annoying as fuck. And then you play Diablo 3, and it tells you on a map, this is where you need to go, based on the quest that you choose. And they're doing the same thing with 4, which, thank God, they're taking the new gameplay elements, putting it in a new one, but taking the old tone, the way Diablo used to be, the darker, that they're taking that edgier into Diablo 4. So that's my opinion on it. You're getting the best of both. But I can see your point, though, about offering, different story elements for the long run. But that's just the way Diablo is. It's not a game that's out for a year or two and then it's on to the next one. It's a long time before you get a new Diablo. So to me, this is an event for me for
And I
Diablo.
get that, but don't make it tied. Okay, so I don't play Overwatch. I've never played Overwatch. I've played World of Warcraft up to Mist of Pandaria, and Mist of Pandaria was epically fantastic, by the way. But like, so I've played World of Warcraft, and I've never played Overwatch. What I am getting at mainly is if you look at the track record of a company, why would I leave myself open to that type of potential treatment? Right now, with Diablo 3, you talked about how that's always been a Diablo thing. Well, since 3, it's been a Diablo thing. Diablo 3 didn't give you new story elements with season passes. It gave you new story elements with expansions. And I think there's a difference in my mind. Maybe I'm weird.
Yeah,
maybe if I paid $29 for an expansion, I'm okay, but if I pay $25 for a season pass, I'm butthurt. Like, maybe that's on me. Maybe that's my thing. And I've heard the devs come out, and the devs have said that it's a complete contained story from start to finish in the base game. So maybe I'm off, but
if that's the case, yeah. You mean there's a beginning and an end in the game. It's just the stuff that they're going to be releasing is just extra story.
It's supposed
content,
to flesh out
like
some
extra.
of the stuff in the story, correct?
Yeah.
Like certain things that have like been throwaway lines maybe in the game actually get like a main focus in the seasons.
See, that I don't have a problem with that. If there was no substantial campaign in the launch game of it, and you didn't have like beginning and end, they're just trying to add additional stuff by just expanding on what was already that's cool to me. I'm good with that. That doesn't bother me. For the exact reason you just mentioned.
Okay, well, you know what? My game store is having a sale for Memorial Day, and I don't know if I had I think anyway, I'll make my decision later.
You're buying the game, bro. You're buying it. It's done.
I might. I don't know, because that means I'd have to kick Spider-Man because I've already had Final Fantasy 16 pre-ordered.
Oh man, yeah, me too.
And so like,
where's the beta? Damn it, never mind. I'll be right.
Let's just wrap all the way back around.
Yeah, right around. We keep going.
The other thing is that Diablo typically comes out, and then they pull like an EA where they're like, oh, okay, well, the people who bought it at 70 are going to buy it. Let's go ahead and slash this thing in half. But my thing is I get, especially if I'm going to play it like with other people, I have to get it day one. Because if not, I'm playing catch up.
And that's the rule with Diablo. If you're playing co-op with somebody, the person that has the lowest XP should be the one that hosts the game. Because it's not fair for them to get less loot than somebody that has a higher XP. So that's how I play Diablo. Whoever has the lowest XP is usually the host, and then when you're at our level, then it's whoever starts. It doesn't matter at that point. It just makes it more balanced when you do it that way.
Diablo actually has auto scaling, where it's going to, let's say I'm level 13 and you're level 25, the enemies are going to scale down to me when I'm playing or when I'm fighting one, but when you're fighting one, they scale up to you.
Yeah. I didn't realize that with Diablo.
Yeah, 4. That's one of the things that Diablo 4 has.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I thought it was going to be the old way. Yeah, then never mind. I take that back. I walked back.
Just get the
I
damn
did
game.
not know
Phil.
that.
Just get it. Just get the game.
Did not know that. Yeah, that's usually the practice with these type of games in the past. I've always handled these type of games that way because there was none that option wasn't there. Oh yeah, no, never mind.
So let's do this. I don't typically do big numbers on showcases or stuff like that, but what would you rate the showcase?
I would give it probably you gave it a 7. I'm probably going to give it, I'll probably give it a 6.
A 6?
Yeah, I'm like a C plus. It was a good show. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't great, and it wasn't the 2 years of silence of not showing more first party support. That's what killed it for me today. Spider-Man 2 was great, but not having more first party, especially no first party on VR2, that bummed me out today. So showcase was good, but it wasn't what I expected. And we had a right to go in with a high expectation today, especially with the showcase not happening in 2 years. And but that's a solid 6, I'd say. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't what I expected either. So wasn't trash, but that's what I rated.
Do we? So I agree, but do we approach this like we do video games? Okay, so it's a gaming show. Let's approach it like we do a video game. I'm sure that in all of your years of gaming, you've played a 6 or a 7 game and came out of it going, man, you know what? That wasn't too bad.
Right. Yeah.
And it's usually because those games give us that every once in a while. There's that wow, like the Phantom Blade, wow.
Yeah.
Metal Gear Solid, holy crap. Oh, and we're getting the collection of all 3.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
First Metal Gear games coming out. You get Beat Saber. That's a big bump for.
Is the MGS collection, is that being upgraded for PS5?
I don't know. I didn't remember. Get the.
Okay. It went by too quick. I didn't see if it was.
Josh Ayers just said the original Nier was given 6s by reviewers. Yes, and it deserved every one of those. That's why they had to redo it. I have a very, very bitter relationship with the first few years after the purchase of or after the merger of Square and Enix. Those were dark years for that company. They released everything that was garbage, and then Final Fantasy. That was what they had. Hey guys, can y'all still hear me on YouTube? I think I just. Hey man, you still there? Hello? Okay, that was weird. Well, I just lost my co-host. So, here we go. Social, I don't know what... let me see if I can't get him back in here real quick. We're about to do outros. I don't know if his stuff died or what. But I guess I can do the outro for him. Or maybe he'll hop back in. If he hops back in, wonderful. Here's where you can find him. Let me hop over to my Twitter real quick, to my tweets. I got 5 of them jokers. All right, yeehaw. Let's get over here real quick. Okay, so it's because it's not Social Destruct on there. Let's do this. Okay, yeah, he said he lost connection. Huh. Hey!
Sorry about that. I had lost watching TV. I was on a lost connection and dropped everything. I apologize about that.
It just dropped everything?
It just, my whole connection said land disconnected. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? No storms, no nothing. Yeah, sorry, man.
Just American internet. That's the problem.
It is. That's what it is. Yeah. You know what's fucked up? I paid for a higher internet service faster connection, and I'm getting shit based on a higher connection I'm paying for. I upgraded my services, and I'm getting this.
Well,
Come
now,
on, man.
is it faster when it works?
No, I mean I had a good connection before, but I have Spectrum. I don't know who you have, but
Oh,
that's who my ISP is, and I
uh-huh.
wanted the higher connection because of our GT7 league. Not that it was okay before; it was fine, but I wanted more, just a faster speed overall. So I forget my Mbps is, but it's high. But yeah, we did have storms earlier here. I'm in Florida, so that may be affecting my ISP service and area, but again, I don't know if you're trying to ask me a question or something. I apologize. I sent you the thing. Like, come back. Hold up.
Yeah,
My connection.
I got all that. I was looking up Twitter to see what all your handles were because we were about to do
Yeah.
outros. So Josh said this, speaking of the
um,
Wi-Fi, like, and Sony was bringing out handheld based on Wi-Fi. No shit.
oh shit.
But let's be honest,
uh,
that's not for our market. Let's
no.
So we do have the largest gaming market in the world, but the rest of the world has better internet than we do. So like,
And I'm using a LAN connection. I'm using a direct cable with Ethernet. I'm not using
oh,
a
you're plugged
Wi-Fi.
in?
I'm plugged in, yeah, and it's still disconnected my LAN for whatever reason. I don't know. Who
Dude, like
knows?
I'm using Wi-Fi
Yeah.
right now, but in my
No.
defense, my city has put in all fiber, so like our Wi-Fi is actually pretty stout. It's really good, and I'm sure I get more than what it actually is saying I get because I barely have stutters. Um, I want the
Yeah.
queue. I use my Vita on. See, that it's not for the West, right? And it's not.
Uh,
It's for all the other countries that love gaming on the go. It's for all of them that have internet cafes everywhere, that have Wi-Fi signal everywhere, that like it's for that. And fine and fucking dandy. But yeah, it's done again. Social, you there? Welp, that's another drop. I'm gonna
yep.
Oh, hey, you're
I'm here.
back.
It came back. Yeah. Again, it just dropped.
Yeah, it's having issues. So tell you what, let's do this. Um, let's tell folks where they can actually find you. Social, destruct, social destruct. I personally think the Q is to combat Nintendo in Japan. I hope not. Like, you, you gotta really come with something better than that. Like, I don't know. It feels like they're trying to go about the handheld space in all of the wrong ways. Once again, guys, I love PlayStation. PlayStation is what I have. It's in my blood. Like, I'm never switching consoles unless, we just have like a PS3, PS2 type handoff. All right, social, you're back. Hello? Hello? All right. So here we go. This, this is what happens sometimes when you deal with technology. Uh, I do want to thank Social a lot. What's
Hey,
up, hero?
I'm trying here. I really am thrifty. I apologize
Hey,
again.
no, you're
Sorry,
good,
chat.
man.
Yeah, sorry about that,
Hey,
man.
Social,
It's my connection.
give us your stuff right now. Where can we find you?
Yeah, if I'm on Twitter, social dash destruct, just made my main place. You can see my YouTube channel, social dash destruct. If a new game comes out, I'll stream it. I am working on getting a camera for the PS5, so I don't know if you want to give any suggestions, Thrifty. I would appreciate it, but that's where you can.
So yes, I actually have suggestions. The PSVR or the PSVR, Jesus, the PlayStation camera. Um, I actually got mine used for like $29, and it's not bad. I'm gonna use it for Thoughts with Thrifty on Sundays, so I think you'll really like that. Also, if you can't find him on Twitter using social-destruct. You can look at Gaming is Alive. And so you can try to find him there. Obviously, you're already here with me, so you know where you can find me. At ThriftyPSGR. You can find me on Twitter. You can find me here on YouTube. I'm here every Sunday night and every Wednesday. I wasn't here last Sunday because it was my birthday weekend and I didn't feel like doing anything at all. So I didn't. But, yeah,
All right,
social.
I'm back. Yeah, thanks. Thanks for letting me jump on the show tonight. So let the chat know. Say good night, chat. I hope we do this podcast again when I don't have technical difficulties. It'll be fine.
Dude, it is fine. Like I said, dude, the
Man.
first time I did this, I had Church on here, and literally through his whole like rant and beautiful explanation of Forbidden West, nobody heard a damn thing. So it's fine. I am not monetized.
Oh,
We are
man.
not professionals, and even if I was
Yeah,
monetized, I
no,
wouldn't really care.
neither am I.
So, guys, next week I have King Thrash on here. So that should be interesting. I'm pretty sure I'm going to get opinions, at least on my show, about about the showcase. And after that, I'm trying to get some stuff lined up. If you're interested, by the way, if you're in this chat right now and you're interested, I don't gatekeep this. I don't care how many followers you have. I like people who know about gaming. So if you want to come on here, you want to hop on, you want to talk gaming, come on and join up. It's fine. We do it all from the PS5. When I was thinking about a name for this, I wanted to call it Live from the PS5, but wouldn't you know that in every country except India, they already have that trademarked. So
It's been taken. Yep. Good luck.
I can't.
They ain't
It is
happening. Not that
trademarked
simple.
by Sony themselves. So I
Yeah.
didn't.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. Good luck. Definitely.
There's only one place that it's not trademarked, and it's because there's a dude that filed a copyright claim for PS5. And so
Oh, come on.
they had to, in that
Shit.
country, they have to ask him and pay him for permission to use the name. If you need to look up that article, like, where doesn't Sony own the copyright for PS5? It's a crazy article. Anyways, guys, that's the show. Thank y'all for hanging out with me tonight. I know y'all could have been anywhere, but you came here. So I truly appreciate it, and we will see you again on Thoughts with Thrifty. I have so many reviews right now that I am working on that it's hard for me to get them out because I'm jumping from game to game. And so bear with me on my reviews. I know some of y'all started following me because of the podcast. Some started following me because of Salty. And some of y'all started following me and actually comment on my reviews of cheap games. So I thank y'all. Smash that like before you leave. And everybody, as always, we're cheap bastards here. So as always, stay thrifty.